Sellout crowd. We're ready to go at Chicagoland. Front row, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. Hamlin takes the inside lane. Something to watch all night long. We are green on TNT.
Oh, we got a car sideways down the back straightaway. Two cars spinning.
Wasting no time. Ryan Preece comes in right
wall. We got a car
at the chase bubble, and he's not the only one. The rookie Connor Zilic.
I knew it, man. I saw the Red Bull car sliding down the inside and making contact with the inside wall. Another quick.
Sorry, guys.
Another quick end of the day. That's a heartbreaker.
Oh, my goodness. Can't fucking get anything to go for me.
You hear the frustration out of Zilic, the youngster in his rookie campaign. Dale, you mentioned it. Had his first top 10 of his career a week ago in Sonoma, trying to build on that momentum, but unfortunately back to the ovals is back to the bad luck for Zilic. He has missed so many laps with early accidents. Today is going to be the same, and that's really the problem as the youngster tries to get more comfortable in the Cup Series. Not running laps is not helping.
Yeah, you just feel like eventually the tables will turn. Eventually he'll be able to put some races together, but I mean, these incidents are happening in lap 1, lap 2 of the race. So Connor on the inside here, right against the bottom of the racetrack. Preece up high a little bit. We have a lot of 3-wide action right there and a little contact with the outside wall.
Like that example, Connor has nothing to do with it, right? They wreck in front of him and he gets collected.
Yeah, Preece had to kind of check up and move down and makes contact with the 88, spins him out. Let's see who that is that gets in the wall. Looks like the raid car. John Hunter Nemechek squeezes somebody into the outside wall coming up off of turn 2.
It was a dark colored car. I couldn't make out the car number either.
I think about Zilic this weekend doing double duty. Started on the pole in the O'Reilly race last night. Wins the opening stage, then has a fuel problem, had a tire issue, has spun out, ended up finishing 10th, but over before it starts tonight as he makes hard contact with that inside wall. Ride with Eric Jones.
Yeah, it looks like the 47, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is who gets squeezed into the wall by John Hunter Nemechek. So Stenhouse with some right side damage.
Riding with Cindric here.
Oh, the 43 gets into the back of Preece and turned him around. I thought Preece had made a move to the left, but he didn't. He ran into the back of and spun.
What's up, Danielle?
Right now, Connor Zilic's crew chief, Randall Burnett, was asking if they could get on the DVB clock and try to get it fixed. And Connor said, man, I can't get my wheel to turn anywhere. I'm not sure we're going to be able to fix this thing. So obviously, Connor Zilic is going to be done for the day, Marty.
And Danielle, Ryan Preece kind of stuck on the track trying to get the tow truck to pick him up as well with the flat front tires. He said nothing like us going 4 wide on lap 1, so kind of frustrated with what happened for Ryan Preece. And remember, Adam, this is the team that's 15th in the chase standings as he limps his way back to pit road, just plus 13 above the cut line, so an early setback for the 60 bunch.
So the 60, because he's being towed, will be taken to the garage. He'll put some tires on it. He'll probably continue. The 88 can make repairs. Obviously, it'll cost him a ton of laps, but he'll not be a contender.
Didn't know what to expect. Aggressive lap 1, and we have our first yellow of the night. Connor Zilic, Ryan Preece involved. We're coming back. NASCAR on TNT. For the first time ever, you get to help pick a future Busch Light flavor. Head over to social media and comment whether you'd like to crack open a Busch Light orange, lemon, or peach using the hashtag Busch Flavor Showdown. Where's Mamba?
You never know where I'm at. We're on pit road. It's Darius Smith, Big Z. Welcome to NASCAR. I heard you've been before, but this is your first time to Oval. How is it going so far?
It's going great, man. I'm getting a great experience from everybody, man. I got a chance to stop at Jordan Pit, man, and a couple others, Progressive. My kids here with me for the first time, man, so I'm excited to be here.
Who are you pulling for this weekend? Whose number are you trying to see in victory lane?
You already know, 45, baby, 45.
4 or 5, man. Appreciate you coming out. You're looking great. Your family's awesome. You never know who you're going to see down here, fellas.
There you go.
I love it.
That's right.
So the 60, just to clean up how the rules work, if you can't drive back under your own power and you have to go with a wrecker, you are automatically hauled to the garage area, to basically an area NASCAR's roped off. They brought priests in there. It seems silly, but the rules have to be the same for anyone. They don't want tow trucks on and off pit road, so they take them to the garage. The team had to run in there with a set of tires, change tires, and the 60 will return.
So let's try this again. A little rinse and repeat after the crash that happened on lap 1. Front row one more time. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson. And Hamlin again taking the inside lane. Boy, what a jump he got at the initial start to take over the race lead.
We haven't even mentioned, remember the 71 of McDowell has to make that pass through because of inspection thing issues. He hasn't had the chance yet because we didn't run a lap, so we'll be watching for that.
Pace car is in. Hamlin, Larson making their way to the Poet restart zone.
Blaney to the outside, making it 3 wide.
Much better start here for Larson, working in that outside lane.
Yeah, we're 3 wide all the way through the back of the field.
Off the corner, driver 5 trying to slide down, take top spot. It will be Larson in the race lead, and they're mixing it up big time behind him.
Yeah, looked like Gibbs had a little trouble there on that restart, lost a lot of spots, fading back to the middle of the pack. Brad Kay, 4 wide right there, Reddick around the top.
23-11 teammates in that mix. You talk about Reddick, Bubba Wallace there in the 23.
Man, that's a bad little lap there for Brad Keselowski. Cost him a ton of spots. Here's a 71 on pit road, Steve.
Yeah, serving his penalty. He's going to blend on the racetrack about a straightaway in front of the leaders, but the leaders will catch him. We'll see. I think he's going to lose a lap. We'll see on the backstretch as we follow this leader Larson down the front. You will see the 71 kind of up ahead on the apron. Larson's going to go from leader to leader with dirty air, thinking, how am I possibly following somebody?
All the way around to turn 2, blending up Michael McDowell as the leaders charge off the corner, coming behind him.
Christopher Bell with a great run off the top of the track there, off top of turn 2 in the 4th spot. Byron and Wallace side by side. Reddick trying to help his teammate Bubba down the inside here. Watching Blaney here on this restart, making a few moves down to the inside. We're 4 wide, just like that. These restarts will be wild already. Pretty intense at the very beginning of the race, just going to get more so as the race goes on. Wide racetrack. They'll use every inch of it down into turn 1. They're all looking for somewhere to go to make it 3 and 4 wide on those restarts.
Reddick now 6th in the running order. Driver 45 picking him up, putting him down early. One is Ross Chastain, his old teammate there in the 7. Daniel Suarez won our last race on a 1.5 miles in the Coke 600. And just behind him, the man that won in San Diego in his 13th start, celebrating a birthday today, Corey Heim in the 67.
These guys are just outside the top 20. Good battle. Track already widening out. 38 of Zane Smith. Some really nice runs recently. Pretty good speed out of that 38 car. On board now with Eric Jones, that Advent Health onboard camera. Jones, a driver that has crept right into this chase picture. Currently the first car outside the chase, 12 behind Cindric.
He had jumped up into a chase position before he made the trip west, running the road course races, but he fell outside, but still very much in the game with some really good tracks coming for him as the battle for second heats up. Buescher's got it in the 17. Denny Hamlin right there, and Larson not getting away with the race lead.
Yeah, Buescher ran the high side there. See the momentum it creates for him down the front straightaway as he closes the gap to Larson. Denny has to look for some clean air here. Not going to find much. Not going to be able to gain on that 17.
I love this onboard. It kind of shows you exactly what you're talking about, Dale. The look for a clean air. What lane? Probably a little bit lower. There you go. 17 runs up a groove that allows the 11 go right to the white line.
17's in the throttle much earlier, though, carrying that speed off the corner down the front straightaway. And in the draft of that 5 car, runs right up on the back bumper of Larson into turn 1 and 2. Larson's trying to be defensive here, Adam. Just trying to really kind of confuse the 17 as to where he needs to go for clean air, and it presents this opportunity for Denny to get side by side.
Just a little hesitation of momentum. You get in that dirty air, and it opens the door for the driver behind you. Hamlin right there. Good start to the race. Christopher Bell back there in 4th.
RFK qualified so well, and Buescher's maintaining that track position. Brad Keselowski's already dropped several positions outside the top 10.
You know, I was looking at the numbers for Buescher, and it's surprising to me just how good they've been consistently on the 1.5 miles this year. I knew they were good, but his average running position in the 4 races inside the top 10, 8 and some change. You see the results there, the 30th at Charlotte when he was involved in that accident, but a really good start here tonight, riding 3rd.
Just an efficient race team. You know, Marty, when we think about that 17 at Chris Buescher, it's a team that I don't think wastes a lot of opportunity. They finish where that car should. They don't really trip up much.
Steve, I think that's a fantastic point. You also look at this type of racetrack, right? Chris Buescher told me yesterday, Chicagoland right in our wheelhouse. You think of Kansas, where Buescher almost won a couple of years ago. You think of Las Vegas as well, where Buescher is always good. He said, this falls into that category for me, and I was so happy with our speed and practice on Friday. That longer session certainly helped, but I think, Steve, we have seen the 17 car have terrific short run pace. The long run, that's where they struggle a little bit. We'll see if the changes overnight helped.
And I will tell you, I would normally clump all RFK cars together because they run so similarly, but today there's some split. We have Buescher running 3rd, Brad has fallen back to 12th, and then we saw Priest get in that early spin. For the Priest fan, he's 4 laps down, car looks fine, he's in the middle to back half of the field. He needs some early yellows as Hamlin now attacking Larson.
It's Denny time over the long haul. We know how good he's been. Battle for the race lead, 19 laps in.
Wonder how hard the 5 will fight here, trying to keep control of this race. I don't know that he can put up much of a fight. Around the bottom goes the 11.
Mr. Long Run himself. That 11, he right there. I mean, everywhere we go, when you get to 15 or 20 laps on the tires, he just seems to have a clear advantage.
I just loved during practice the other day, you hesitated when you said you were concerned because you said, it's just practice. He's a race day guy, and he's leading again, Denny Hamlin out front. Go inside the race with NASCAR Driver Cam, presented by Straight Talk Wireless. Access every in-car camera with driver data, multi-view, full team audio, and more. Watch NASCAR Driver Cam all season long only on HBO Max. 24 laps into the opening stage. Hamlin, Larson, Bell, Buscher, Wallace, the top 5. Riding with Joey Logano, the Hunt Brothers Pizza on board. The 3-time champ back in 26 right now.
Christopher Bell has gotten by Christopher Buscher in the Battle of the Christophers. And now Bubba Wallace with that 23 car. Head speed in practice. All the 2311 cars were fast in practice. 4 of them in the top 6 in speed. It was incredible. He's starting to close the gap a little bit too on Buscher.
CB versus CB, huh?
Yeah. It's going to be tough to hold these Toyotas back, but you can tell that the Fords and the Chevys are slowly finding it. Slowly finding it. We heard on the pre-race earlier, Larson said he has the confidence they can get there.
And I think getting there and qualifying is kind of early indications. And I don't want to use the word easier, but it's more in front of you. 1 lap speed, you can cover up some other deficiencies. It's the long run where if you have some aero deficiencies or some other things and you start abusing tires, they kind of show up. So qualifying was a good maybe idea of what we might see. This 23 above Wallace, though, watch how well it runs around the bottom. I mean, he just turns left, easily drives to the left side door of the 17 or Buscher, a little loose in the back right there, but able to stay with the power.
I mean, when you dance like that, you can hang on to it, gather it up, and move on. An indicator that over the course of the night should be in a pretty good space.
Buscher's going to make this a tough one, though. He's fighting hard on that outside, and that's what this track provides is multiple grooves, and car on the high side is going to have the momentum every time on the straightaway. It's going to be hard to make this pass on the bottom, and there you see the car struggling on the right side of the screen. 23 just trying to, he can't open the wheel up. He can't really get in the throttle and finish the corner. 17 with a moment right there.
They're driving them. They're driving all of them. They are not stuck.
Nope.
Which I was shocked with Larson's comments on the pre-race about the perception of speed, because the cars are moving around, and normally you think about that as cars that are sliding, but he was very adamant that it feels like they are hauling the mail around here.
Let's get an update. 23, Bubba Wallace 5th right now, Danielle.
Yeah, Adam, he said he needs some front end help, and we're hearing from several Toyotas that the bottom lane is still the preferred groove. Tyler Reddick is being told that by Billy Scott. Ty Gibbs, crew chief, said the track is not widening out yet. Don't go up there.
Yeah, you kind of run the high line as a defense more than anything. When no one else is really up there running it, it's not the fastest way around the track. But if you're trying to keep a spot, it's absolutely the place to go, because it's going to be difficult to pass you on the bottom of the racetrack as opposed to the top.
What's going on, Marty?
Adam, classic Denny Hamlin so far here at Chicagoland. Restarts just okay, but that long run pace always seems to be there for the 11 team. So Steve, you can see bright sunshine here in Chicago right now, but this race will finish at night. So my question is, when practice at night, how much will the track change? And as a crew chief, where do you go with adjustments, and how do you migrate your car throughout the race to be right when the checkered flag flies?
Well, the track is absolutely going to change as the sun sets and it cools. It used to be very straightforward. In the O'Reilly race, we see all those cars free up. That was pretty much written in everybody's notebook. As the track cools, you get looser. In the last couple of years, between the tire combination as this battle continues, now we have a yellow on the racetrack. Oh, Zane Smith.
Yeah, making his 100th career start, brings out second caution flag of the night.
Yeah, so just to finish that thought, when I kind of quizzed the garage, I got varying opinions on what the track may be. So I think that will determine who's going to be good at the end of this race, is who stays ahead of the track. Right side roof flap up on the 38, so we definitely had spun around.
Got a little bit of contact, some damage to the right rear quarter panel, it looks like. There you see the damage. He's got a little sideways. He's got the right rear up against the wall in the middle of turns 1 and 2. I don't think he went all the way around. Got the car back under control, but there is some damage, Steve, to the right rear quarter panel and tailpiece.
Yeah, you see the roof flap up, also the diffuser flap. Let's see what happens. Oh, on the bottom,
contact.
Stacked together here.
Yes, sir. Somebody was not happy with something. Oh,
wait
Dane
a minute.
in the 77.
Both drivers making career start 100 and connected at the hip here.
Yeah, well, 200 starts just slid up the hill together. Man, I think there's got to be some more to this story. I wonder how they ended up in that situation. Let's take a onboard.
See, he's looking in the mirror. Man, it's pretty hard contact with the right side. So something happened. Goodness. I kind of wonder if something had been going on multiple laps before that. I didn't notice anything looking out on the racetrack over the last couple of laps, but I know also that this has been a thing for a couple of weeks, maybe between these two, if I remember correctly.
Well, you know, they were head-to-head last week in the opening round of the in-season challenge. Hocevar able to advance.
And this right here, completing lap 34, will be a busy time on pit road. Lots of cars on the lead lap. Going to have to be very clear, communicating with your driver when you can come, when you could go. Remember, Larson lost his pit pick. He'll have Joey Logano coming around, and we'll have to see if that develops into a story.
Denny Hamlin leading them down. Here's Shannon.
Yeah, let's watch this number 5, guys. Remember, he lost his pit selection because of failing inspection, so he will have a car in front of him. They got to come a little bit further back in that pit stall so that he can angle that nose to get out. Marty?
Nice progress for Christopher Bell. Said the car feels really good, just a little bit too free for Chris Buescher. The opposite issue, said the car was too tight, which is really kind of the opposite of how they were in practice. Denny Hamlin said the migration was very interesting for him. 1 and 2, pretty good, but 3 and 4, he needs to be tightened up in that section of the track. And the 11 team holds serve here on pit road, comes in with the lead and leads with the lead. Adam,
you win the pole, you get the number 1 pit stall, and the crew does their job. Denny Hamlin jumps out in front of Larson, Bell. Byron goes +3. Buescher lost 1. Second caution of the night for Hocevar and Zane Smith. You're watching NASCAR on TNT. Trade the biggest moments in racing on Kalshi for a limited time. Download Kalshi, the Kalshi app, and use code TNT to get $10 when you trade $10. Kalshi, trade what's next. Here's Mamba Smith.
Guys, we're back at Chicagoland Speedway, and one of the coolest things about this place, it reminds me of old school. We're on the backstretch over here, and way over here, the fans can park their campers right up against the fence. Well, I'm here with some fans over here. We're waving. We're having a good time. One of the tallest patriotic flag over here. It's awesome down here on the backstretch. I'm telling you, the fans have it figured out in Chicagoland Speedway.
Great sports town. I mean, Marty was talking about that during NASCAR Nation. Fun racetrack, good to be back. Look at this, Denny Hamlin. After going inside at the initial start of that restart after the first caution, you know, Larson got the lead from the outside on that first restart of the day. So Hamlin here says, I'll take the outside lane.
The choose at this track is so critical all through the field because you want to be able to put yourself in that outside line if you can. You'd even give up a row to do it, to be able to jump into that third groove, possibly take a few spots or take a few lanes going around turn 1 and 2 on a restart. The choose is so critical here, more so than most tracks.
Well, Reddick went 15th to 6th on the last restart. Starting in the 8th position. We'll see if the 45 can replicate that.
Hamlin, Larson, row 1. Bell, Byron, row 2. Leaders going through the Poet restart zone.
Well, Reddick tried to do it. He climbed the hill, and his teammate Bubba Wallace was right in front of him. The blue car with the yellow roof, third row back, 3 wide on the top.
Chase Briscoe down on the inside of that battle. He was one of the first to peek to the inside in the 19, runner-up last week at Sonoma.
It's going to be a net positive right now for Bubba, possibly as well for Reddick.
William Byron on the scene in third. Bell getting the shove from, I think that is the...
That's Bubba right there.
Larson said, I'll go inside, I'll go outside.
Yeah.
The one thing I like is the lead on restarts. 5 back on point.
Bell to the top, trying to get third here down the back straightaway. Not going to be able to do it. Goes to the inside of Byron. He's got a great run. Side by side with William in the turn 3. Middle of the track, Bubba Wallace to the outside of Christopher Bell. Almost contact right there between the two Toyotas for 4th. Bubba Wallace taking the spot.
23 good in practice. All the 2311 cars were. Wallace, the best qualifier from that bunch. And look at William Byron. He, too, was good in qualifying inside the top 10, going after second here.
Pre-race, Larson said that Byron had the speed. He was right. 24 car. Takes second away from Denny.
Well, I would say long run Denny Hamlin, short run Hendrick Chevrolets. We'll see if that trend continues through the night.
Halfway through the opening stage. Hamlin's led 24. Larson has led 15. What about the guy on point, Kyle Larson, Shannon?
Now we know how fast he is at this racetrack, back-to-back second-place finishes. One of the challenges he will have today is this pit stall selection. I mentioned during that pit stop he lost the opportunity to pick his stall, so he does have guys that might be coming in at the same time as him. We got Blake Harris and Cliff Daniels talking on the radio. They're trying to work something out right now. Listen in.
And it was out in the middle of the stall, so they're going to have their sign up to let us go through before they put it down, plus the staging of their guy as well.
Okay.
The 88 is 2 stalls behind Kyle Larson. They're also going to keep their pit sign up for a while before bringing it down so Larson can get in and out of his pit stop.
Just good work by teammates, having a good plan to help their driver. .45 of Reddick, trying to take 6 from Briscoe. See the Toyota Racing onboard for Chase Briscoe. The 45 had really good long run speed in practice. You mentioned it a couple times, Dale. Those 2311 cars, well, they're starting slowly but surely to work their way to the front with Wallace and Reddick now inside the top 6.
Xfinity onboard camera riding with Reddick here. Looking back at Briscoe. What's the latest on a 45, Danielle?
Billy Scott is very impressed with the ground that Tyler Reddick has been able to make up since the start of the race, Adam. Remember, they started 13th. They're up to 6th now. Why does that matter? Because Denny Hamlin is 3rd. Billy Scott did not want Denny Hamlin to earn a lot more stage points than they did early in the stage. Right now, guys, the battle could not be closer.
There's just so many layers and so many different stories to tell when you look at those chase standings, whether it's Hamlin and Reddick going for the regular season crown, that battle to be inside the top 5 at the reset, or just to qualify. A whole lot going on with 8 to go to the postseason.
Larson seems to like that middle groove as the 24 Byron trying to close the gap. This battle back here, though, Chastain and A.J. Allmendinger down the middle of turn 1 and 2, right behind Hocevar. Hocevar struggling a little bit, I believe, from the damage of the contact with the wall earlier. Holding these guys up here. Marty, you got something on the 77?
Dale, it's almost like you were talking to Carson Hocevar. Like right when you said that, it came on the radio, said, man, we are slow. And yes, that underbody damage just killing our speed right now. Remember, Carson Hocevar just outside the top 10 when that incident happened with Zane Smith. Now he's back in 23rd, struggling with a ill-handling race car.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I'm disappointed. I'm a big fan of Zane, a big fan of Carson. Disappointing to see the contact and Zane, whether intentional or not. Oh, we got to spin the 33 hard into the wall.
Caution number 3, Austin Hill.
Austin's been struggling all weekend with this race car. Just hadn't had the speed that he's kind of shown over the last several weeks driving this 33. And he seems to be a little upset. I don't know if he said just wait, as if there might have been some contact.
We're probably done. I mean, it's killed.
Home game for Austin next week, going back to Atlanta. Been so good there in the draft at the O'Reilly level.
Owner Richard Childress, as he is each and every week, found a perch to watch the race. Talk about a man committed to the sport.
And Guggenheimer.
I tell you, that last lap by, the 11 of Hamlin was the fastest car on the track. It took 13 laps to run before, and it seems like it takes about 10 for that 11 to get going. Another bit of cleanup work. The 71 of McDowell got his lap back under the previous yellow. And the 60 of Ryan Preece took the wave around to get to only 3 laps down. He should then get a free lap here to get to 2 laps down. So Ryan Preece, Derek Finley doing a nice job. Just keep swinging. Just never out of these races.
We've got a replay here to see if we can find out what happened with the 33.
I think that's SVG. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's something. Big contact right there. That's really, really hard contact with this race car for Austin Hill. And I can't tell whether it's impatience, because both of the last 2 accidents look very similar.
Or frustration from 2 weeks of road course racing.
That's right.
Remember, the SVG and the 33 were kind of in the middle of that wreck, the big wreck at San Diego at the front of the field.
Yeah, they sure were.
Car's pitting again, Shannon.
Yeah, the car for Kyle Larson's just been free during this race. The first pit stop, they did not take a big swing at it. They're not going to take a big swing this time either. Just 4 tires for that 5, Danielle.
Bubba Wallace is having a great run, Shannon, so far today. He said, we're in our window on balance. Let's keep it right here. So not a major adjustment there, Marty.
Oh, spin on pit road, Danielle, happened right in the middle of pit road. William Byron said short run car has a terrific turn. That's actually Todd Gilliland, who is backwards on pit road. Denny Hamlin said the car migrates way too free for me. I need to be tightened up. 4 tires for Hamlin, and you can see all those 2-tire decisions, Adam.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought strategy could be a thing here, because it hadn't been that long ago that these drivers had made a pit stop.
Smoked in the left rear.
The big question I have, who got him?
Yep, somebody coming out, one of the leaders, the 20 of Bell.
Oh, big contact.
Yep.
It might not look bad, but that sort of contact on the front of the 20 can absolutely dislodge some ductwork. If it hit the tire, it can knock the toe out. Listen, the hood stays pretty sealed against the hood vent. This would be a great view right here. Ooh.
That looked like something from the Cars movie.
Eventful cycle of stops, 50 laps into stage 1. We'll reset, get a restart when we return.
Is fine, just splitter damage.
It's been an eventful opening stage in the eero 400. Glad you're with us for NASCAR on TNT. You know, the greatest week in history is almost here. Shark Week starts Sunday, July 26th on Discovery.
A lot to dissect over the last few laps. There were some question marks, though, on 33 and 97. So we went back into the history books a little bit, went to Pocono. That's where this rivalry at least got heated up. To the left, the 33, into the 97 contact. This was at Pocono back in June, causing a wreck for SVG to go around. Pretty big damage. And then the one I remembered, the one I mentioned, was this move. A mistake by the 33, and he admitted it, but the result's still the same. It gets both Red Bull cars. It gets Zillett and SVG. A race that I think SVG was crushed to be knocked out of. So then let's go back to today. SVG in the corner. Left rear contact. Shift the 33 around. And then Austin Hill had some comments on the radio.
Yep. Just wait. Van Guggenheimer, or however you say his fucking last name.
Yeah, it was just payback for California.
It's getting to that point in the season, Dale. A lot of racing. You're starting to become more frustrated. Yeah. We're going to see more and more of this. And the short track season right around the corner.
Oh, yeah. I've got a bunch of them coming up.
I feel like that's been the case for both accidents we've seen today. Is a little bit of a past history there. The 11 car had a little bit of trouble on pit road, Marty.
Not so much trouble, Dale, just that they went with 4 tires instead of 2, and several teams decided to stay out under that caution. So here's what Denny Hamlin thought about that move from his crew chief. Listen in.
Yeah, we got to protect track position there because I know everybody in the back's going to take 2 or whatever. Just didn't have enough square to really do all that. Copy.
Yeah,
so Dale, how different will the game be now for Denny Hamlin? Way back in traffic, he will restart all the way back in the 21st position.
Yeah, it'll be tough. They had to rejack the car to make sure they got one of the wheels tight on the left side or the right side, and so cost him a little bit of time on pit road, and he comes out behind a lot of cars. Fast race car, smart driver, long way to go in this race. Denny's going to be just fine.
But if you look on the left side of the pylon, a handful of cars stayed out, 5 of them, which is really going to jam up restarts that have already been crazy.
5 stay out, 5 take 2 tires. First on 4, William Byron 11th prior to the choose. Austin Cindric brings us to the green flag.
Interesting restart there. You see this field sort of separated into 2 groups. It's a nasty mess right here in the top 10. 3 and 4 wide. I don't know how that's going to work out going down the back straightaway. A lot of contact.
Normally people lay back to make a pass. Denny Hamlin, I think, was laying back to see what the heck was going to happen.
Teammates racing for the lead. Logano inside of Cindric here. Briscoe, the best of the bunch, that got 2 tires. He cycled up to 3rd on the restart.
Ty Gibbs tried to go to the bottom of the racetrack, almost got in the left rear of William Byron there. Had to check up big. Larson through the middle 3 wide with AJ. And Ty Gibbs takes a spot or 2 there.
Keep in mind on
second.
Bell, the white car up the hill. The reason I say that, remember, he had the contact with the 34. Not really sure if there was any damage. We're just going to have to see what kind of speed's left in that 20. Look at this on board. Where do you go? What mess do you follow? Larson's got to go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Larson got 4 on the last cycle of stops. So did his teammate. We mentioned William Byron just in front of him. They're racing around Riley Herbst in the 35.
Denny's still struggling back here to try to make up any ground on the inside of the racetrack. A lot of momentum going around the top. Be a great opportunity for Reddick to maybe grab a few spots here, try to get himself in that top 10, get a few stage points while that 11 car is struggling back here.
Byron Larson continue the climb on those 4 tires they got. Hitting at lap 49.
Zane slid up the track off of turn 2, give the spot to Bubba Wallace down into turn 3 and 4.
Talk about taking advantage of track position. Riding with Denny Hamlin here. HBO Max giving us this onboard ride. 18th is where he scored.
Now he's up off the bottom of the racetrack with some opportunity here to make something happen.
I think Denny would really love this thing to just go 23 laps green to the finish of the stage. His car continues to get better. You start to see him move forward. Restarts have never been the signature of this 11 car all year. They have improved them, but the longer we run, the easier these passes will become.
He went 2 for 1 there. Got Ty Dillon and Chase Elliott.
Let's see another one right here, I believe, on the 1 at Chastain. Chastain's going to give him the top of the racetrack.
I was waiting for the crossover to go low. Instead, he keeps it high. Looks like it's going to work out for driver 11.
Oh, he's going to be in the gas early here. The question is, will he be able to use the run? He will. The 6 will get to the outside of the 16. The 11 will push him through. I love this. I could watch these onboards, the decisions these drivers make.
But this really puts this place into perspective as Hamlin gets another one. 14th in the running order.
Dale has set his options. Look, he was working the top, now he's working the bottom, right? It's going to be a little bit harder on the bottom, as Dale has said, but at least he has the chance to go there.
And now we watch the battle for the lead. Cindric's still there, but here comes Briscoe in the 19.
Side by side right behind on Byron, trying to get around Christopher Bell. Good speed in his 24 car. He wraps the bottom, clears the 20. Look at that 20. 24 car stay low all the way around the exit of turn 2. Great turn, good grip.
And Dale, this is the story of the Penske cars, right? Cindric, who we thought was the best Penske car in practice, even on older tires holding the lead, Logano has fallen all the way to 8th already. Just doesn't have the raw speed required to make these gambles and try to get some track position.
I mean, 19 to go in the stage, and you think about the significance of this for that 2 team. Come in at the chase cut line. You want to gather up as many of those stage points as you can. They've got the track position now, but drivers behind them with a better tire situation. We'll see how it pans out as we go to Shannon.
Yeah, Joey Logano probably on that plan as well. Unfortunately, he just dropped outside the top 10. Guys, he was going to come down pit road for a pit stop, but he was called off when they realized that they would be able to restart in that top 3. You know, he was playing the points game. He is 31, at least coming into this race, 31 to that cutoff line, 20th in points. Not a good showing right now for the 3-time champ.
Denny Hamlin goes around.
Yeah, the problem is their car's not even good enough to use the track position.
Yeah.
That's what's frustrating.
I've enjoyed watching Denny go through the field, but one car that's even more impressive, I believe, is the 17 of Buscher. Quite a ways. He was right in front of Denny just a few moments ago, but he drove off and passed a handful of other race cars in this 17. So good speed in the 17 early.
And so many times, Steve, you talk about the importance of leading in your strategy.
Yeah.
He's 4th in line of those drivers that came down and got 4 tires. When you got the 4 tires, gives you some options when you make that pit stop at the end of the stage. And here's William Byron, the best of the bunch, that came down at 49 and got 4 tires up to 2nd.
And listen, applaud Austin Cindric and this 2 car. Behind on tires, they have about 10 more green flag laps on their tires, continuing to lead laps. That's impressive for the 2. Very impressive.
His crew chief, Brian Wilson, told me last week it's all blue collar. Sleeves are rolled up right now for driver 2. He's on point. We're heading to 15 laps to go, stage 1. Coming to 10 laps to go, stage 1 at Chicagoland Speedway. New leader, William Byron, out front.
Yeah, let's take a look and see how it happened. William getting around the 2 of Austin Cindric. There he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Austin on the multi-tires, they're starting to show up a little bit. Austin had good speed in practice. First on 5 laps, second on 10 laps. So this is no fluke that this 2-car can get up there and keep this pace, but just a tire advantage of the 24.
11th before they stayed out. So now he's back to 3rd. I think if he runs 5th, 6th, that's great. Everyone's going to reset at the end of this stage. You've got some stage points, and you got a read on your car in that clean air, Dale. Like you said, he had a great car in practice. We keep talking about the changing track. Some of it's in shade already.
Can the 5-car Larson, though, go up there and take it away? I think Byron is smart to commit to the top of the racetrack. I've talked about how that's kind of a defensive place. You can go up there and find speed, but you're also going to make it difficult for the car on the bottom. Slips up the racetrack a little bit right there and allows the 5 to close the gap. But the momentum down the front straightaway is kind of what saves you from running that higher line. You drive away from the guy who's running the bottom. Larson back to the bottom of the racetrack. If Larson can come up off of turn 2 and be alongside for a side draft down the backstretch, that would be nice. Not able to do it right there. 24 uses the momentum off the top. 23 and 19 battling on the right side of your screen for 4th position. Good corner right there for Byron. He puts a little space between him and Larson.
Bubba's got a good race car. 7 to go, stage 1. What about the 24 Byron, Marty?
Yeah, when I talked to William Byron yesterday, Adam, he said it feels like we need a reset weekend on the 24 team. And he said we've just been missing the balance, especially at the start of races all year long. And in my mind, we've given up so many stage 1 points this year. It would be nice to feel like I'm in the ball game early, Junior. I would say the answer to that is yes. 7 to go. William Byron leading here at Chicagoland in stage 1.
Yeah, they haven't been able to show this kind of speed all year. They got to be thrilled in that 24 car. This is a great battle right here for stage points. This is basically 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all right there on top of each other.
Points leaders looking at each other. 1 point was the difference between the 11 and the 45. Denny knows it. He sees the car he owns down there on the white line. Got to have a run off the top. Where's he go?
So you got Herbst, Christopher Bell who's fading, the 45 who's trying to get through. 3 wide down here for Denny. Boy, can he hang on the bottom?
I hesitate to say 2 for 1, but a great move by Hamlin going inside of Reddick. He gets him. Chasing Gibbs as well.
Reddick's going to fight back on this outside. Right on the quarter panel of Denny Hamlin. Denny's in some bad air right there, but Reddick can make it happen. Denny just a little bit quicker.
And I'm telling you, if you're Denny Hamlin or Chris Bell, this is like a little win on the inside. You're feeling good. You got to at least score a couple more points than that guy right behind you.
It's a win, but it's also, you know, a sign to the 45 car. They've got to get to work a little bit on getting this car to do what he needs it to do to be able to defend those spots. He was going through this little bit of traffic right here, the 40, the 35, the 20. He was going by those cars. Got in the bad air there, couldn't make it work, and Denny's able to pass him and now take the positions. Denny now climbing into the backside of the top 10 for stage points.
Reddick into the top 10 as well. Saw a big dance there from the 20 of Christopher Bell. 4 to go in the stage.
This point system has given us everything I hoped it would be. There's conversation at the cut line. There's conversation at the top. And there's separation. I'm okay with 2 cars running away a little bit. Their performance has earned them the right to be the focus. They are 2 races clear of the rest of the field, basically.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 drivers that you think about right now, what they're doing from a competitive standpoint. Seeing them go toe-to-toe for the title would be awesome. Hamlin gets another one going inside of Gibbs.
What I loved about that move, Dale, that was just old school. That was a car that could turn better, patient, wait for the 54 to leave the bottom and drive to the left side. He might not be done. 2 to go. I think he thinks he can get to that 35 as well, get 1 more point. Upgrade on Cindric, only falling back to 4th, so that great call by the 2 car going to score those guys a lot of points as well.
And he's got a second advantage over 5th place. Chase Briscoe should be able to ride there, get some really good stage points. We'll see 1 to go next time around in this opening stage.
Yeah, Byron has almost a 3/4 of a second lead, so pretty clear over Larson.
And you think back to last year, early in the campaign, Byron had led a ton of laps. You hadn't been able to do it this year, right? Just off the pace in that regard. But we knew they were getting their arms around it at HMS. You guys said it, Larson talking up his teammate on NASCAR Nation. and Byron delivering in this first stage of the race. Hamlin going after Herbst. That's for 7th on track in stage 1. And out in front of them, it's William Byron who gets the stage victory, his 2nd of 2026.
Great job by Riley Herbst holding the boss off. I like that move out of the driver of the 35, making the most out of those 2311 Toyotas.
And Cindric does stay in the 4th position, 7 stage points there, a net gain of 7 positions when you think about the way they played the strategy.
A little bit of contact right here with Josh Berry, Chastain. These guys battling right around 17th in the final couple of laps.
Stage 1 complete at Chicagoland Speedway. William Byron gets the green and white checkered flag. He led everyone with stage wins a year ago. NASCAR Cup Series racing on TNT is brought to you by Brestree. Visit us at brestree.com. We're here in Joliet, Illinois. You know, the Joliet Correctional Center shut down in 2002, but way back the warden said, I want to make sure that we got good morale. So we started having the inmates play baseball as a way to build it. Well, the Joliet Slammers, an independent league team, they went out earlier this year and played a little exhibition. I love that. You know, one of the owners of the Slammers, Bill Murray. How about that? And we've got the MLB season heating up, and TBS has you covered all summer long. Watch the Yankees. Cover your eyes, Steve. Take it on the Rays Tuesday, 6 Eastern on TBS and stream it on HBO Max.
Man, only 14 games back for the Red Sox in the basement.
I just told you, don't look at the standings,
One game off of Baltimore, where you're up next. You're only one game ahead of us.
Been an issue on pit road that NASCAR's had to stop and work on, so it's delaying this caution a few extra laps. Not sure if the timing line
came
out of the surface of the track or
something. Which I will tell you, I hate that we're having this issue, but
looks like a big chunk of asphalt is just missing.
Yeah. Walking around this facility all weekend, I'm going to give it to the NASCAR crowd. Julie Giese and everybody kind of helps oversee this racetrack. We could have raced here last year. I mean, the garage looked great. The grandstands look great. Mamba, I've kind of walked the whole facility. It's hard to believe it's been dormant for 7 years.
Yeah, Stevie, I'm over in turn 3 right now. I think I figured out my favorite place to watch the race from. Just watching them go through 3 and 4, they look like they're on a roller coaster. And then behind me is kind of like the backstretch. We haven't talked about it much. There's a lot of characteristics of this place, but it's kind of a D shape, which isn't normal for most of our racetracks. It kind of reminds me, Dale, of the old Myrtle Beach Speedway. I raced there before. It kind of gives me a little Myrtle Beach vibes back here.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to have a back straightaway shape like that. It's not really more trickier than anything else, but the way the sun sets here can blind you a little bit down the back straightaway. I remember that being difficult for turn 3, but fun little racetrack. You're always turning, kind of always either on the right rear or the right front tire. You rarely give the tires relief. You're always kind of fighting balance, tight or loose. It's a tough track.
Let's get a report. Chase Elliott with Danielle. What's happening there, team number 9?
Well, it was a late night here at Chicagoland last night in the O'Reilly Series race. Chase Elliott and Brandon Jones were putting on one heck of a show in overtime. Smart race. I wasn't going to race him too hard or get into him there at the end. He kept it clean, but he is hungry for his 3rd win of the season tonight, guys. Elliott started 9th. He has fallen to 15th, but the car is getting better. The latest he told his crew chief, Alan Gustafson, he said, it's not terrible. I feel like we missed it a little bit in that earlier run, just a little bit tight, but the balance isn't bad. They are slowly feeling like they're getting this car where it needs to be as we enter stage 2.
Yeah, the 9's one of those teams that put on 4 tires back at lap 49 and just didn't make much of it, right? Byron Larson got to move forward. Elliott kind of just got stuck back there.
Danielle referenced that was a fun race last night. Delayed a few hours because of all the rain we had here yesterday afternoon, but once we went green, an electric race. Brandon Jones with a tremendous job, as Danielle said, in overtime, getting his first win of the year.
I tell you, one of the storylines for me that came out of that race was just how hard it is to choose, Dale. Well, you and I have talked about this, which lane you want to be on the restart, how you restart. The leader didn't hold the lead. The leader who controlled the race didn't hold the lead on like the last 4 or 5 restarts. Like you were sitting ducking. I couldn't figure out top, bottom. It didn't seem to make sense where it was. The results were the same, but for different reasons.
That'll be the challenge also in stage 3 for these cars. Pit stops coming up.
William Byron leading them down to Vabismo Pit Road. Here's Shannon.
Yeah, that 5 car starting to free up, but they are still working on entry and exit of this pit stall for the 5 car. They told him pit a little bit wider from the wall, and they even pushed their pit sign out a little bit. Meanwhile, Austin Cindric said driving too much through the right front in traffic, leaned hard on the right rear out front. Danielle.
Bubba Wallace got 3rd place in that first stage. Charleston Knight got on the radio and said, great job, we needed those stage points. Bubba said it's okay to sacrifice some front end grip to be a little better at the end of this run. Marty?
Stage win for Denny Ham, or for William Byron, however. He said that's the hardest I have pushed the pace in the car so far. And when I push the pace, the turn gets, quote, lazy. I need a little bit more help on the long run.
Byron wins the race off pit road, +1 for Bubba Wallace. Larson lost a spot, +2 for Buscher. And Cindric, after the cycle, comes off in 5th. Really good situation for that 2 team.
Yeah, Christopher Bell gave up a lot of spots, but I believe they're doing some repairs from that contact on pit road with Todd Gilliland.
Welcome back to the eero 400. William Byron wins stage 1 and the race off pit road to start stage 2. Burton, we talked about it in the pre-race. This place promotes theatrics. We didn't even get through one lap and Connor Zilic is in the fence.
Things got started really early. Contact up front. That stacked up. Ryan Priest and Zilic. You can see right here, 3 cautions, 6 leaders, 10 laps. Been a lot of things going on, but Zilic with big contact. Priest is now 2 laps down. He's fought himself back. See right here, this is Connor Zilic's horrible rookie year. He'd love to forget it. 7 DNFs, only 6 lead lap finishes. More DNFs than lead lap finishes. He's ready to get to the next race, get it behind him.
It's been a terrible season for Connor Zilic. We've seen plenty of other action though as well. Right there, Austin Hill getting sent by SVG. Entry to turn 3, we saw the same thing with Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar down on the other end of the track. It's been eventful, I think. A lot happening in stage 1.
Tempers are flaring, Adam. NASCAR is back.
Hey, one thing, yeah, that's right. I mean, it's like old school. One thing I want to pop here, Ryan Priest now 1 lap down. Jeff referencing the fact he was 2, took the wave around here to get to 1 down.
I like that. I thought we were going to lose Marty. That crowd cheered at the first off camera, and he jumped up.
He was out of his
I thought
chair.
he was going to crowd surf right at the back of the stage.
I think he was going to take a page out of your book, Dale Jr. Dover, when you won that race. Ready for stage 2. Byron Wallace front row. 24 going from the inside lane.
McDowell's that car that was on the apron about 10 rows back, gets back up in line, pretty organized up front.
McDowell, top 20 after that pass-through penalty following those inspection issues yesterday. Byron gets the jump on the restart, and here comes Larson in the 5.
Yeah, Bubba trying to hang on the top of the racetrack right there around the outside of the 5. I think he's going to do it. Clears the 5 down the front straightaway. Hard racing behind him.
That's that 2 cars you mentioned. We were looking at Hamlin. You love Busher. I can see why. Good speed on that 17. Can he stay on the right side of the 11? He will. He'll race him off the corner.
Yeah, the momentum off the top is going to carry the 17 almost clear. Denny's going to try to slide draft and slow him down. Out front, Bubba Wallace trying to take it to the 24 of Byron. Bubba with a big run down the front straightaway is going to get to the back bumper, the 24 entering turn 1.
I had a conversation with Bubba earlier on Inside the Race this year about Reddick's hot start, and he admitted, he goes, I'm cheering on my teammate, but it hurts when you see a guy in the same equipment winning that many races, getting that hot start. He wants to make it his turn. Remember that big win a year ago at the Brickyard? He'd love to relive that by getting a win this summer.
Side by side for the lead off turn 4. Side draft of the 24, Byron on the top of the racetrack. They send it down into turn 1. Bubba wraps the bottom. He's clear, well clear of the 24, Byron off of turn 2. Bubba Wallace, the new leader.
So many times you got to be patient to make it work here because it takes so long, as we've said, to execute a pass. But Wallace that time able to dive down, get the spot, and 24 bouncing around a little bit as Larson gets around Byron.
The Hendrick Chevys are thinking they got the Toyotas beat because they got Hamlin back there and Reddick back there, and here comes Bubba Wallace with a smile on his face.
You have to wonder, too, if the 24 car is driving as well as it did the run before. Just doesn't look quite as good as he's trying to fend off a challenge from his teammate. Also, his main challenger in the bracket weekend, Larson. Byron, they're going at it for second.
Oh, no!
Look out, there goes Larson.
You're good, you're good. Keep
Caution is out.
Watch out for this grass. A lot of rain. We'll see what kind of damage.
Just hope he can get out of there.
No, sir. Not going to happen.
Stock.
Yeah.
He definitely got loose. I couldn't tell if it was over the bumps.
I just need a push. Just on the push me.
The tow truck looks like they're going to try to back up to the nose of the car. Larson wants to be pushed from behind out onto the racing surface. This will be interesting to see what NASCAR decides to do. I think
there's an official on the front of the car. So what's going to happen if we get a shot from above? On the front of the car, they're untaping a hook. So instead of pushing from behind, these guys are untaping straps. So these cars have pull hooks installed. Both of these officials are untaping those. They're taped up for aero. They're going to hook this kind of V, kind of like you're towing a boat. They're going to hook it to that wrecker and pull it out. With the diffuser on the back of the car, and as low as these cars sit, pushing them from behind is really unsuccessful. This came up for road course racing 8 or 10, 15 years ago. They've now implemented it in NASCAR. It's just a great idea. Watch how efficient this will be. They're going to drag this 5-car right out. I'm going to give it a shot with just one hook. Let's see how we do. Oh, yeah. Success. I'm not sure if the tow truck would have went into the grass if it wouldn't have got stuck. Now they'll unhook it. He'll drive back around. Lap lost, but it could have been way worse if they had to hook up. Yep, steer to the right, trying to get him out of the pavement, and now they'll unhook and let him go.
He's on 4 flat tires, though, Steve.
Flat.
Yeah, he's flat. So now we're going to see if he is running the, okay, what they're calling for now is there is a system, an air jack system at the A-post, and they'll plug a bottle in if he's running it. It's optional. I'm not sure if the 5 has it this weekend or not. If they plug the bottle in, they'll flip the valve and it'll push up. Nope, they're going to push a push truck behind it.
They're trying to push here.
Been a great summer for Larson. Top 5 and 5 of the last 6.
5 doesn't have the list system, we're being told, so his only option is to be pushed.
And this is unfortunate because drag the bottom of this race car off.
Yes.
And I don't believe that once he gets back around, he's drug a bunch of downforce off the bottom of the car. We've seen these cars typically not run well after this occurs. We've seen some that do, but most often this is a bad situation. You're seeing him drag all of that underbody off the car, and all that means is just downforce going away.
Cliff Daniels, you see him right there giving instructions right away, but he knows this is absolutely not going to be ideal for the 5 team. Great job getting him out of the grass. So they pushed him to get him running. They would not have pushed him all the way around. NASCAR said they're not going to push a car all the way around. They'll hook you up, tow you in. He's going to lose another lap right here because he can't run pace car speed. I don't know what else he should do.
Hey, you talk about him losing laps. Ryan Preece gets the caution he needed. You take the wave around, get to 1 lap down, you get the free pass here. The 60 will be on the lead lap.
It's a tough situation for Larson because of how much work they've done to put themselves in a good position points-wise. They're going to give up quite a few points to the 54 Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott as well, possibly, if they can get this car going again. Let's take a look down into turn 3 and 4. Steve, you were watching it, just pushing really, really hard. Right there, the car just kind of swings loose. It was around the bump in the tunnel. It's not quite as bad up that high on the racetrack as it is in the bottom groove, but still upsetting the car somewhat.
For me, you know, I'm not a race car driver. I'm a fan. I'm a crew chief. I hate this for Kyle Larson, but I love to see. This is how hard these are to drive. This is one of the best race car drivers in the world who is trying to end that winless streak, pushing this race car, trying to make it free, trying to make it drive really good, and he spins out basically by himself on a very difficult racetrack. Listen in here, on board.
Yeah, the bumps up in the middle of the racetrack just upset the car, and there just doesn't seem like there's much that he's able to do from behind the wheel to rescue the car out of the spin. Once it kind of starts swinging the back around, it's gone.
Wow. Denny fortunate to get by on the bottom.
Let's see how fortunate here. Yikes.
Because he doesn't know if that thing's going to catch and come down the track, go up the track. 5's back to pit road. Now, you mentioned the things underneath there. There's just not much they can really do to repair them during the race if anything was damaged. And they'll inspect them, try to give it their best guess.
You know, the one thing that this team has done a great job of is scoring stage points, in particular on 1.5 miles, second in stage 1. So he does have those 9 stage points. That'll help soften the blow as you think about the balance of the night and where they land at the end.
Interesting moment in time, too. Only 5 laps on these tires. You could make it here from fuel to the end of the stage, but man, I don't think you want to run that long on a set of tires, and for that reason, you see a lot of cars stay on the racetrack. I wonder if someone in the back will try to gamble, come down, be full of fuel. It would be a stretch for sure.
Early caution, stage 2. Bubba Wallace leading at Chicagoland. Last restart was good for him. Picked up the Xfinity fastest lap. He'll be in control here as we restart. 65 laps to go, stage 2. Wanted to update Connor Zilic, Austin Hill involved in those accidents. They have been released from the care center.
Be interesting to see if the 24's got the short run speed he had earlier. Briscoe to the top, trying to make it 3 wide around the outside of Reddick.
Restart's getting better and better.
Here comes the 24, Byron down the back straightaway, side by side with Bubba Wallace. Busher into third. Denny struggling a little bit. Restarted third on the insides, already dropped back to 6th.
You mentioned Briscoe, that 3 wide move worked. He got all the way up, he's down in the 4th position.
Wallace able to jump in front of Byron. Thought Byron might make it work in that outside lane.
Chase Elliott trying to get to the outside of Denny, won't be able to do it.
Look at this. I mean, 4 different lanes there basically through the corner.
The 97's in the wall a little
Shane
bit.
van Gisbergen, a little kiss coming off the corner. Fifth and 6th on track. Reddick and Hamlin.
Yeah, Denny trying to recover. Didn't quite get the restart he wanted. And here's the 97 car just missing the corner a little bit. Gets a little bit loose up into the fence. Denny taking the spot back on the left side of the screen from the 45. Denny's talked about how he needs to improve his restarts, and he's kind of done a good job of that over the last several weeks, but that last one he's going to want back. And here's the 45 of Reddick fighting back. Short run speed on this 11 car. He kind of looks normal today, Steve. I think the long run speed's there, though.
Yeah, I agree. Another name we haven't talked about, the 48 of Bowman, right back there behind Chase Elliott. So those two Hendrick Chevys moving to the front. Hamlin finally clears the 45. That is going to be something we'll keep an eye on, though, Dale, right? The long run speed will put him there, but if we continue to get yellows late in these races, can he protect enough?
Look at the in-season challenge. A lot of good matchups in the bracket this week. Think about Larson having his problems and how that opens the door for William Byron, who's up there in second. And Steve, you just referenced Alex Bowman riding ninth right now, racing Ty Gibbs for that position back there, just behind the top 5 and his teammate Chase Elliott, Danielle. Shannon, excuse me.
Yeah, the 48 of Alex Bowman, you just mentioned it, in-season challenge against that #1 seed of Tyler Reddick. We talked to him pre-race. Of course, he's the most recent winner here at Chicagoland, but the team telling me you could throw all of that data out the window. So different with this new car. What's not different is the driver and his confidence. Blake Harris told me from the very first lap they saw that confidence in Alex Bowman. They've tried to tell him what other drivers are doing, but they said, we just got to let him do his thing.
Think about the top 10 he posted last week to advance from round 1 to round 2, and got to celebrate Eric Jones. Top 10 for the driver out of Byron, Michigan.
Another driver glad to be back on the ovals.
Oh, yeah. And this style of oval, and you think about Jones and the success that he's had right here at Chicagoland, 2015, 2016, winning in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
The 19's come to life. Great move on the restart. Gave him a couple spots, and now he's going to try to march forward. And Buescher won't go away. You know, we keep talking about all these different players, but the 17 of Buescher quietly, methodically, just stays right in the mix.
A little bit tight right there for Bisco through the middle of the corner up the racetrack. Loses a little bit of distance. Here's a battle right here. Corey Heim in the 35.
You know, he's been quiet tonight, but 13th on the board after qualifying deeper in the field. This young driver, very impressive as you look at the numbers for 23-11. A couple of cars in the top 10, all of them inside the top 15.
Reddick struggling right here, losing a couple of spots to the HMS cars. Chase gets by as well as the 48. And this is the race that Bubba Wallace was looking for. The one race where he was the bright spot for 23-11. This 45 car looks like he's struggling a little bit. Even though we saw incredible speed out of him in practice, Reddick just not able to make it happen right now. The track could change tremendously, though, once the sun goes down. Trying to put a run together off the top here. Gets to the inside of the 48 down the front straightaway. While all this happens, there's a great battle starting to form for third between the 17 and the 19 that continues, and also Denny Hamlin's kind of crawling into that battle as well, just ahead of these cars. This is Eric Jones.
Yeah, the Advent Health on board. We start to see that sun becoming a factor. Christopher Bell now getting by Shane van Gisbergen, 23rd on track for CB. Marty?
Yeah, you got to go a long way back to check in on Christopher Bell. Remember that contact on pit road earlier with Todd Gilliland. They have pitted several times to fix that damage. And here's what Adam Stevens told his driver under a caution a couple moments ago.
I was asking if that was damage or tires. But it's not tires. All the tires are in front of us. It's got to be the damage because your crew chiefs have done it. Pit when it's open, we're going to have to work on it. I'm not going backward all day.
Adam Stevens a little heated at himself, Steve, which as a leader you got to do once in a while. The damage was that the splitter was a little separated from the nose, but how about that veteran Adam Stevens saying, hey, that was my bad and it won't happen again.
Yeah, so what is he talking about? The crew chief's job is to clear the driver at least one lane out of the pit box. The spotter can then take over. That contact with the 34 is on the crew chief. You have to say, as much as you don't want to, it's stop, you can't go, you can't go. Adam Stevens, a two-time champ, 41 wins and 402 starts. So over a 10% winning percentage on top of the pit box. He knows how to get it done, and that's why he's frustrated. He knows his driver has been gritting through a hurt left wrist. They're working their way back up in the points, and I think he knows with 8 races left, he wants to climb the chase standings. Mistakes like this are giving away a track that I thought they could potentially win at. He was my pick pre-race, and we'll have to just see how much speed's knocked out of the 20 car.
This battle here continues to brew between the 19 of Briscoe and Buescher. Denny Hamlin just a few car lengths behind Briscoe, waiting on this thing to sort out, or maybe present a chance for him to take both spots away. They can get up there and race side by side a little bit. Briscoe's car just looks a little bit too tight. Needs a little bit more turn. He dives in the bottom of the racetrack, and you want to wrap right around the bottom here if you can. Does a pretty good job there, but momentum is going to carry the 17 down the front straightaway. They draw even at the flag stand.
Saw Briscoe's dad down in the garage today. Great sprint car driver. Chase, a third-generation guy, and putting some really good runs together back-to-back. Runner-up at Sonoma, getting it done here tonight around Buescher up to third. Bubba Wallace in charge in his Toyota, closing on the midway point of stage 2. He's in front of Byron, Briscoe, Buescher, and Hamlin. You're watching NASCAR on TNT from Chicagoland. DC Studios Supergirl, starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa, now playing in theaters. Just inside of 50 laps to go, stage 2. Opening stint of the race goes to William Byron. And right now it's Bubba Wallace out front. Byron second, but here comes Briscoe in the 19.
Marty Snyder let us know that the 24 of Byron struggling with front turn. That car doesn't look as good as it did earlier, but I mean, right there's Bubba Wallace. This is still a pretty tight battle. Bubba's not driving away off the nose of the 24 car, but Byron now has to start to get defensive. Instead of trying to do what he wants to do to run the line that he wants to catch the 23, he's got to also try to do what he can to keep this position, meaning he may have to go to the top of the racetrack and run a line that gives up a little pace to the 23 car, Bubba Wallace, in the lead.
You see 3 and 4 and the entire front straightaway now in the shade. The sun has gotten low enough that while it may not have set, the track will be cooling quickly at that angle, especially in the shade. The 11 closing in the picture behind the 19 and the 24.
Oh, the 24 just had a terrible exit there. Lost the front and the back of the car, almost spun the car out.
There's Briscoe flashing to the inside.
Byron had to jump off the throttle. He had a big push coming up off the corner. When somebody gets on the inside of you, your car gets really tight. You lose a lot of turn.
Well, there he is. I mean, riding with him now. He just lays in the weeds, finds his way. Briscoe goes by. Hamlin said, I'd like to join my teammate, racing Byron for third.
A lot of room behind these cars, so Byron can probably give this spot away if he wanted to and just settle in and try to save these front tires as he's lacking a turn. He's beating the right front tire up, making the right front mad. It's going to make the push worse. It's going to make the front grip worse.
Probably only 5 or 6 laps away from green flag pit stops. It's going to be a little hard to predict with that earlier yellow, but
look at how much better the 11 car gets through the corner now. As I mentioned, the 23 wasn't driving off the nose of that 24 car, and he wasn't going anywhere. And here's Briscoe going to the top of the racetrack, trying to get around the 23 of Bubba Wallace. Bubba's struggling. Here comes Denny Hamlin. It's a 3-car battle now.
2311 Toyota out front. Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas are there. Bubba Wallace hanging on. Got him coming on either side.
Man.
Inside Hamlin, outside Briscoe. For the lead off the corner.
Briscoe's going to have the momentum. The 2 inside cars slowing each other down with a side draft. Bubba sees it. Slows the 19 down, but it's a little bit too late. Now can Briscoe fight and get the spot back, get the lead back from Denny. Denny with probably the better car of the 2. Briscoe clears. Now we'll see if Briscoe can drive away. He's had some pretty good speed over the last couple of corners. Right to the bottom of the racetrack, right in the throttle. Denny closes just a little down the back straightaway with the draft.
as I mentioned, only a few laps away from green flag pit stops. Dale, one thing we've been watching all weekend and you had in your notes is how difficult the entry is to pit road here at Chicago. You want to run as far around the corner as you can because of the transition, and because of that, it's very easy. The orange box does not really jump out. I'm going to draw here real quick because the orange box is way out here. And what happens is it's further to your left than you think as you get around that corner. I bring that up because as these leaders pit, you want to get as much time as you can, but this is a mistake we've seen many, many times here in the previous decade. I think it's going to be an issue again here today. There you go. Two cars hitting pit road as this battle up front continues.
The other thing you might be able to see, as we saw in those cars slowing down, we had accidents at places like Vegas where cars were trying to slow down while on the banking. Could be some contact as cars trying to get to pit road. Danielle.
And the 9 is in of Chase Elliott. The last thing he said on the radio, I don't think it's terrible early in the run. I think I'm just getting a little tight towards the end. You see the 9 off pit road as the 45 comes in. Tyler just told his crew chief, Billy Scott, we're migrating more free, but overall happy with the car.
Danielle, see Chris Buescher leaving pit road, has to back up into his stall. They're going to have to retighten that left front tire for Chris Buescher, who said he was a little bit too tight for Buescher. Same story for William Byron. Said, yeah, compared to these guys, meaning the Toyotas he was racing up front, said, I'm losing my front turn. Rudy Fugle promised we will free you up as the first green flag cycle happened here at Chicagoland. 37 to go in stage 2.
Scheduled stops for all these drivers. First to give up position was Austin Cindric. He came down from 10th. Here's Chase Briscoe. Shannon?
Yeah, what a great run for Chase Briscoe right now. Tiny bit free out there on the racetrack, so they'll go to work on that 19. But what a run it is for this 19 car right now.
Bubba Wallace getting his service.
And Bubba Wallace is in his pits now. He had just told his crew chief, Charles, tonight, my car is getting worse. He fell from the lead to P3. Denny said, don't worry, we'll adjust it. He is off and away.
Corey Heim making a stop, running inside the top 12. Here he is, Shannon.
First time Corey Heim is racing here at Chicagoland. He did do some of the tests with the guys earlier this year. He said he feels like his right rear is starting to go a little bit. Told him they're going to tighten him up on this pit stop.
Denny Hamlin stays on the racetrack. His idea is he's going to split this up even. 34 to go. He has 37 laps on his tires right here, so he much loved the idea of being in clean air. That last lap would agree, a 31.6. All right, this time. So let's see how the 11 to Denny Hamlin does. We know the challenge has to get around the racetrack. 44 is up top, nobody out back, so no concern. On board, Dale, this orange box, very hard to see as we get around here.
Going to be conservative to get on the pit road, does a good job.
Long drive down pit road to that #1 pit stall, Marty.
Yeah, when Denny Hamlin was outside the top 5, Adam, he said, quote, I'm going to quit messing around here in a little bit, and indeed he did. Went up there and battled his teammate Chase Briscoe for the lead. You see Tyler Reddick coming back to pit road. Hamlin, no complaints, especially on that long run speed, Danielle.
There's something wrong with the 45. Tyler came on the radio and said, guys, we're in trouble. I can't see anything, but it feels like water is everywhere. Could be something with the oil pressure, Steve.
Yeah, I see some fluid underneath the nose of the 45 car. You see it all over the right side. Something has gone through the radiator. Oil cooler, so maybe a piece of debris or something has gone through the radiator, or something inside the motor has exploded, but you see the fluid all over the right side. So this 45 will be retired. They could go back, make mechanical repairs, but you question if there's damage to the engine, and this will bring the yellow out. All that fluid had to be somewhere. So now a caution in the middle of a pit sequence, but this is a big story for Tyler Reddick. Went so good so often early in the year. Now he's been caught by Hamlin, and now behind the wall is a lot of points.
Take a ride on board here.
So what you're seeing is the smoke and oil coming out the right side hood vent. Remember, the air goes in the nose, goes through the radiator and oil cooler, and out the vent. So this tells me that isn't an engine issue, it's a leak in the oil cooler. And the air going across the oil cooler that should be cooling the air is pulling that oil up onto the race car. So this seems to be a repairable issue, but it is going to take 5, 10, 20 laps to finally dig in there. So this team will go to work. We probably will see the 45 car return if there's no damage to the engine, but that oil cooler is just not an easy change.
You know, he had that 129-point advantage. They were second at Pocono, but he felt like they left some points on the table there. Outside of that, 4 of the last 5, they've encountered some kind of problem. I mean, you see it right here. It's just been a host of issues after, as you said, Steve, so many things had gone their way early in the campaign.
And this caution's kind of unfortunate for some. There are some fortunate for others. There's a lot of race cars still on the racetrack, and it's got half the field trapped a lap down. They'll probably take the wave by. At some point, several of them will be able to do that, but a lot of cars didn't come to pit road.
It's messy at the moment.
Right in the middle of the cycle, yeah.
It's messy because Byron is on the lead lap and he's already pitted, and Briscoe's on the lead lap. He already pitted. They're running like 9th and 10th. So if you're running in front of those cars, you're okay. But if you're behind those cars, they're not going to pit. So people are going to be trapped.
You know, the other thing is how that worked out through the green flag cycle and what that 24 team was able to do, gaining some track position.
Bad time to have a mistake. The 17 of Buescher, a car that hung out at the front all night. They come down, they go from the right side to the left side up, left side down. You're going to see right here, left front not done. So they do a nice job stopping and backing it up. I didn't think this was going to kill them because under a normal green flag cycle, it might have cost them 5, 6, 7 spots on the racetrack. But now that track position may eliminate his opportunity to get the wave around. So this simple mistake on the left front is going to be very costly for a car that ran inside the top 5 or 6 most of the day.
Well, he was 8th when the green flag cycle began, came down, had the miscue, and as you said, some compromised track position will impact how they manage things from here.
Yeah, so if you look at the cars actually on the racetrack, William Byron, look at that mess. Man, this is a tough job, too. You want to talk about some burnt fingers.
All right, this is a good time to give you our Kalshi market odds. Kalshi traders are currently forecasting Denny Hamlin 54% chance to win the regular season title. What an exchange we've had here in stage 2.
Yeah, so Dale pointed out, these guys will stay out. So Byron will assume the race lead, I assume. Briscoe, Wallace, Hamlin. Nice job by Byron pitting a little bit early. Let's zoom out a little bit. So behind Byron are the cars we should be concerned about because he's going to stay on the racetrack. So we got the 19, he's fine, he's already pitted. 23 of Bubba Wallace is already pitted. Denny's already pitted. Chase. It's the cars as we get further back that's going to be an issue. Like, for instance, Bowman, he's okay, he's already pitted. They'll cycle to the front. They've done a nice job of getting their service done. Anytime you think this is really bad, get a caution in the middle of a green flag cycle at Bristol or Martinsville, and it's nearly impossible from on top of the pit box to figure out where this timing and scoring is.
Let's get an update. Tyler Reddick, Danielle.
In the garage, thrashing on this 45 car. I just talked to Slugger Labby from TRD. He said something went through the radiator.
Yep. Team will go to work. Crew Chief Bill Scott right there preparing the next radiator to go in, but you see all the parts and pieces, the ductwork that has to come out.
NASCAR working on pit road, putting a lot of speedy dry down on pit road. That's going to delay the opportunity for the teams to open pit road, to come down and pit and sort of see, you want to, if you're a car lap down, you kind of want to see where this cycles out and what opportunities you're presented to either get your lap back or.
I wonder what car, this is just, me being crazy and aggressive, but does Blaney and Bell, Bell might be able to make it to the end on fuel. He was last on pit road at lap 97. We have 29 to go. If he stays on the racetrack, he traps a whole bunch of cars a lap down. There'll only be like 16 cars in the lead lap. So if you're Bell, it sounds crazy, but a little bit of an offensive move is also a big defensive move because you're going to trap guys down. You're going to limit the number of cars. Remember, he had those repairs. He lost his track position. It might be a net gain for him.
If you're Priest and you want to do something crazy and roll the dice here, why not? You've been able to come from 4 laps down just past the midway point of stage 2, and you're right back in the game.
The question I would be concerned with, do you get run over and wrecked?
Yep.
Restarting with old tires.
Round 2 of the in-season challenge. We look at the bracket.
Well, we have some good battles. Bowman and Cindric, that's been a heated battle all day long. Gilliland and Hocevar, we saw Hocevar get some damage. He's currently 29th. Gilliland as well, though, just is having an okay day. So far is running in the front side of that. Briscoe and Gibbs, this is a battle at the front of the field.
McDowell doing a good job of keeping himself in the game tonight when you consider that they had the pass-through to start the race.
Byron and Larson, with Larson's issue, Byron has to be feeling decent about his chance to advance.
Talked about the problems for Buescher on that stop. Facing off with Christopher Bell in round 2, Mamba.
Yeah, you guys know I'm all about the money. It's about this $1 million, this in-season challenge. And so we got Todd Gilliland, who was he wasn't really up to snuff where he needed to be. But coincidentally, the incident between his teammate, Zane Smith, and Carson Hocevar has actually put him in the catbird seat right now as Hocevar is down a lap. So you never know what battle is going to really affect the in-season challenge. And that's one of the best things about it.
BR Racing onboard camera riding with Hocevar tonight. It's pretty cool. Hocevar was in the media center this weekend, and his hometown of Portage, Michigan, is only a couple hours away. So he comes over to the Midwest, gets to stay at home before he comes over to Chicagoland for the race this weekend. Kind of gets 2 home games when he races at Michigan and here at Chicagoland. Cool for him.
I've been spoiled this area of the country. I've been spending more time here. I have a child that goes to college near here, and it's just so Boston will always be my favorite sports city, but Chicago is moving to a quickly number 2 spot. It's just an amazing downtown area. All these little outskirt areas each have their own little field. The fans have come out in droves. I mean, look at this place. sold-out grandstands. They have campers galore. They have not had great weather. Today looks amazing, but the last 2 days, these rainstorms that have come through have been just torrential downpour, but has not slowed out these fans. It's a holiday weekend, and here they are at the racetrack.
Well, there were fans here last night, and we didn't finish the O'Reilly race until almost midnight local time, but they were still here fighting through the weather.
Yeah, it's a great market. NASCAR comes here, and the fans come out to support the drivers. Remember, we pulled on property 3 days ago, and Ross Chastain was at a local gas station, and there were what, hundreds of fans in line to get his autograph.
Monster Energy team here, 35 crew working on this oil spill. As the 45 was pushed back to the garage area, covered the pit road with all kinds of grease and oil. So these teams are trying to make it as good as possible for their car to be able to get into their stall and have as much grip to enter and exit the stall quickly. A lot of work going on pit road. You'll see it right there. Just there's stuff pouring out of this race car as he's backing it up pit road. And I'm hoping that we get this pit road opened so we can cycle this field and sort out the running order. It's driving me crazy having to sit here and wait.
I'm going to tell you, if I'm Priest or Zane Smith, I'd trap some guys. I believe pit road's going to be open this time by. I see a green light on the entrance. You're going to get your wish. We're going to cycle this running order.
Going to get the cycle. Who pits, who stays out, how do you manage it? The most challenging thing for us every time is when the caution comes out right in the middle of that cycle of green flag pit stops. Let's go down to Vabismo Pit Road. Blaney and others coming down.
Yeah, Adam, finally a good break for Christopher Bell after that pit road contact a little bit earlier. You see Ryan Blaney right in front of him. Bell said, hey, the balance is close, but I have no idea what to tell you to do because we're in so much traffic. They decided just to put 4 tires on it here and kind of see where they land. They think they'll start in the top 10. And for Ryan Blaney, he said, I honestly feel like not much has changed for us throughout the race. The car needs more front turn, and at the end of the run, way too free for Blaney.
Wanted to sort through as we reset the running order and get the restart when we come back. 25 laps to go, stage 2. NASCAR back in the saddle at Chicagoland Speedway, racing here for the first time in 7 years. Tonight, it's the eero 400 on TNT.
The majority of the field taking the wave around.
That's right. I said sarcastically during the break, 75 cars took the wave around. It felt that way. So John Hunter Nemechek was the first car 1 lap down at the time of caution. He gets the free pass. Officially, 17 cars take the wave around. All of this cycles back to William Byron being the race leader. Let's get another update from the garage and Danielle.
The 45 team, Adam, is thrashing. In that last commercial break, the old radiator came out, the new radiator came in. They're installing it now. I just talked to competition director at 2311, Dave Rogers. He said that is the only change we're making on this car. We are trying to get out as soon as possible. Here's the old radiator. You can see fluid is still leaking out of the bottom right corner. Guys, points as they run right now, Tyler Reddick is 10 points behind Denny Hamlin. You see the hole there. That is what went through the radiator and caused this entire issue. They are trying to get back on track as soon as they possibly can and minimize the points damage.
And racing can be cruel. Something goes through your nose and into the radiator.
Byron, Rudy Fugle, great execution in that green flag cycle. He's the control car, front row, Chase Briscoe. 22 laps to go, stage 2 at Chicago.
Big block down the front straightaway. Bowman to the inside of Riley Herbst, 4 wide momentarily. It's going to cost Cindric quite a few spots. Bubba way up the racetrack. Loses quite a few positions there.
Ty Gibbs racing Denny Hamlin. That's for 4th on track, just behind Chase Elliott. Got his best running position of the night.
Bubba trying to battle back. Bowman crosses his nose, a little contact there, now 3 wide. Christopher Bell to the inside.
20 car right back in the game.
Yeah, we were wondering how much damage from that contact on pit road, but Adam Stevens appears to have that 20 tuned up.
Bubba's lost quite a few spots here. Gonna have to try to regroup.
How about Todd Gilliland? Benefits from the cycle. Here he is, maintaining some of that track position inside the top 10. 3 wide here.
Oh, the 20 gets a little bit loose right there. Has to jump out of the gas. It's going to allow Blaney to clear.
Blaney been on quite a run. 6 consecutive top 10s. He's never had 7. Trying to get it done tonight. Looking good right now.
Blaney fans, that's Adam Alexander. If it doesn't happen, trying to give you the broadcaster jinx.
I will fall on the sword. Well executed night so far for he and crew chief Jonathan Hassler.
You'll see Bubba get a little bit loose right here. Oh, big moment. Chases the car up the track. Just driving over that bump in the tunnel there, and the car takes off up the racetrack, almost wiped out.
We saw earlier how sensitive it is. I mean, Larson had it get away from him.
Look what this cycle has done. Todd Gilliland running 8th. John Hunter Nemechek, 12th. You know, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 14th. All taking advantage of this.
A lot of those guys we're talking about outside the top 20 when we began that green flag cycle earlier.
And then Blaney, who came down pit road, one of the first cars down pit road during the cycle, driving through the field up to 6th.
Let's get an update from pit road and Marty.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago, Adam, that Eric Jones was in the top 10, but now he's back in 32nd, actually. What's going on? Listen in.
Hey, Bill, I don't know what's going on here. Something's wrong with the steering. Just wave left. I gotta keep feeling it out.
Then he came on, Steve, and said it feels like the steering rack is broken, and told the guys, listen, we got to clean up these mistakes, especially when you have speed like they had today, Steve, and you can race your way into the top 10. To have an issue like this, very frustrating for your driver.
Well, remember, it's been a mechanical day or whole weekend for the 43. Let's see what happens on the restart. Just up the track a little bit. But you remember the 43 had a part fail underneath the car. The diffuser, I think, delaminated or they hit something, but that cost them a bunch of practice, and now it sounds like the steering is having an issue.
Yeah, we have the standings in there. Just below that chase cut line, driver 43, Eric Jones. 21 points out.
He's driving mad now, trying to gain all them spots back as we watch Bubba Wallace try to pass Gilliland for 9th position. Cindric trying to regain some of the spots he lost on the last restart.
Cindric was 10th and the first to come down in the green flag cycle. So it's kind of leveled out for him as he rides at 11th. Cindric with 14 laps to go in the stage wants to get back inside the top 10, get some of those stage points after collecting 7 in stage 1.
Battle for 4th right here. This is kind of the battle for 4th and 5th in points between these two drivers. Chase Elliott, the 54 of Ty Gibbs. Ty's in 4th in points, Chase Elliott in 5th as they run right now.
Well, and Ty made the jump to 4th with the incredible execution last week, sweeping the stages at Sonoma, gets a top 5 finish, put 54 points on the board. A great effort by that group to go out and deliver on the road course. And he's been quiet here tonight, but inside the top 5 looking for more.
This really suits Ty Gibbs' style. I was talking to Tyler Allen, his crew chief, this morning, Adam. He said he loves tracks where you can run up high, you can search, you can hunt around. He credits it to his dirt background. He said, I want to go up there as soon as possible, and you can see Ty Gibbs running P4 right now. It's been a great night. It's been 10 races since that first Cup Series win at Bristol. His team knows it and feels like they have a chance to get their 2nd win of the season here this evening.
Grabbed a spot away from Chase Elliott right there, and Blaney's trying to claw up into this battle as well, continue moving forward to 12th car. Blaney had no real good front end speed in practice, but on the long run, he looked pretty good to me. 6th and 10 lap and 5th and 15 lap. So there's good speed in this 12 car. He's one of the cars that came here and tested the tire test, Denny Hamlin and Larson being the other two.
I love Blaney on NASCAR Nation earlier when we had the feature of you winning the 4th of July race at Daytona 2001, and Blaney's watching the clip, and his dad Dave was in the race. My dad Dave was in that race. I thought his reaction was outstanding. What do you have for us, Marty?
Yeah, I got to agree, Adam. That feature was just awesome earlier today. You know, I talked to Jonathan Hassler, crew chief for Ryan Blaney, earlier today about sort of their intermediate track performance. He said, listen, we have to keep it in perspective. Yes, we did the tire test here, but 6th to 10th has been a really good day for us at the intermediate track. So a top 5 finish, that'd be a fantastic day for us. We still have some improvements to make at Team Penske at this type of racetrack, but caught the caution at the right time, and Blaney showing the speed to keep it up there in the top 10 right now.
When you think about the tracks that are coming up, short tracks, I mean, he wins at Phoenix earlier this year. We know how good he is in the draft. We got Atlanta next weekend. We still go to Daytona. So this is a team to really watch down the stretch of the regular season.
Another car to watch is that 20 car, Christopher Bell right behind him. They've made the additional repairs on pit road, and he's made the most of it. Up to 7th there and showing a little bit more speed than the 12 and possibly the 9. A couple positions for the 20 right there in front.
Look at the running order for Joe Gibbs Racing. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th for Briscoe, Hamlin, and Gibbs. And you mentioned Bell riding 7th, 3 wide here. I mean, that's a trio. You got Chastain, Logano, and Hocevar going at it.
Yeah, 21st, 22nd, 23rd in the running order.
No quit in any of those three, right?
No, even perhaps when there should be.
Let it go. I will not.
But so entertaining. A fan favorite, Hocevar. He's really becoming beloved. I'm going to tell you, you can hear it at pre-race, anytime he walks around the infield, anytime he's near a fan group or on social media. The fans really support driver the 77.
Well, you walk around here, and Steve, you were talking about the fans and how knowledgeable they are in this region of the country, regardless of what sport you're talking about, but certainly NASCAR. But you walk around, and you just see so many fans now wearing that 77 gear. A lot of it produced when he won that race at Talladega.
Oh, that celebration.
Classic. 5 laps to go, stage 2.
Oh, look at there. Chastain throwing a block or two. Logano trying to just go where he wasn't. They make a little bit of contact on the front straightaway. Hocevar loses the nose really bad right there.
And if this was for 5th, they would be smiling for this hard racing. But when you're outside the top 20 and someone's racing you like this, man, the frustration starts to build.
45's back out on the racetrack, riding on board with Reddick.
29 laps down.
This battle here was pretty fun. Logano trying to salvage a good day after it's been really frustratingly slow in practice and qualifying. 12 of Blaney finally takes a spot away from the 9 of Chase Elliott.
Good buddies there. Blaney trying to jump back into the stage point game. Collected a bunch of them this year. You look at the lineup, who's getting stage points. Blaney's top 5 in that category. And Byron in line to get a bunch of them tonight. Won the opening stage, going to be 2 to go this time by. Briscoe right there with him. Hamlin not too far back.
You see the speed of the 5 car, so that spin has definitely damaged. They took the wave around. The older tires just didn't work. They didn't get the yellow. He's back to 2 laps down.
It's be interesting right here if we can ride on board or stick with this fight. Denny loses the nose as the 19 car drives across the front of the 11. It kind of creates like a boat wake of dirty air. You don't want to be behind anybody. You want to be offset or in some clean air there. So, but Denny seems to be quicker. The 19's probably struggling as he gets closer to the 24. So that presents opportunity for Denny to maybe take a position, if not 2. It's going to have to happen quick, though.
Final lap, stage 2.
Briscoe's going to send it to the top of the racetrack. He might have enough of a run down the back straightaway to close the gap. Drives right up on the back bumper. The 24 is trying to make it confusing as to where he might go.
A little shot fake there, going into the corner.
24 losing the car a little bit right here. Oh, 19 out of the gas, got tight.
Byron back to the green and white checkered flag. It's a stage sweep for driver 24. How about this? 21 total stage points for Byron in the last 11 races. I think it's 20 here tonight. That is big time.
The short run speed on the 24 car is evident. The long run speed is there for the 19, the 11, and all the Toyotas basically. Can the 24 keep control of the race, Steve? That's going to be the magic to them getting to victory lane.
That is absolutely it, right? Because we have seen clean air, this 24 works, but falls behind. It could be a problem. You called it a shot fake. I thought it was a little bit of a Euro step.
That was it, yeah. No traveling. He does get the stage victory. Glad you're with us on a holiday weekend. Happy 4th of July to everybody watching at home. NASCAR Cup Series racing on TNT is brought to you by the Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express Card and by Straight Talk Wireless, an official partner of NASCAR. Available at Walmart and straighttalk.com. Riding here with Kyle Larson. Been kind of a yo-yo night for them since they had their issue. Does get the free pass. Riding here with HendrickCars.com. That'll put him in the 1 lap down category. He had gotten to 1 lap down and then got passed on those older tires after taking the wave around. So the free pass here will get him back to 1 lap in arrears.
Yeah, they were looking for the home run, the wave around, and then a quick yellow. It's going to be an interesting final stage. It's a little longer than stage 1 and 2, and both stage 1 and 2 had early yellows, which shrunk them even more. So our overall green flag runs were on the shorter side. You know, I think the longest we've had today has been 35 laps.
And I think that benefits the 24 and has aided him in sweeping the stages, Steve, with the short run speed he's got.
I think that's a great point. And now the question is, can we get clean and green? And if that happens, does the 19, does the 11, can they stay close enough in touch to use those older tires?
We talk about pit crews and how important they are, and this is when they need to shine. You know, if you give up that spot, you're literally giving up control of the race, handing near victory to another team. So if they come on pit road first, they need to leave pit road first to be able to have control and maintain the lead in the clean air.
Last time Byron got a stage sweep, he went on to go to victory lane a season ago. See the race recap tonight. 7 cautions. We've been busy. Talk about the problems for Kyle Larson in the spin. Reddick spent all that time behind the wall. Points difference right now, 44 between Hamlin and Reddick at the top of the chase standings. Pit stops. So we'll wrap things in stage 2. Anticipate the final stage. Heading down Vabismo Pit Road. Here's Shannon.
Chase Briscoe going second right now. Great points day for this 19 team who finished second at Sonoma 1 week ago. They're just trying to figure out how the car will change or how it will be affected if they get that lead in clean air. But they did tell him he needs to be able to arc that number 3 a little bit better. Danielle.
You see Ty Gibbs in the 54 pitting now. He said with the sun going down, crew chief Tyler Allen, I am just way too free. He said, we'll tighten you up. He scored 9 stage points today, Marty.
William Byron said in the pre-race show, all I'm worried about is a big points day. Check in that category. 2 stage wins for William Byron. Said it went tight the longer he ran. Same complaint for Denny Hamlin, just too tight on the long run as well, especially in 1 and 2, Adam.
Everybody executing up front when it comes to their pit stop. You want control? Byron's got it. He jumps off in front of Briscoe, Hamlin, Gibbs, and Blaney. Final stage coming up from Chicagoland on TNT.
Welcome back to the eero 400 on TNT. A massive development in that second stage. Tyler Reddick loses an oil cooler, and that potentially has massive points implications as we move forward. Reddick had no finishes outside the top 15 in the first 14 races of the season. This will mark his 4th finish outside the top 20 in the last 5 races. So potential massive point swing here at Chicagoland Speedway. But the racing has been fantastic. And Burton, you're really impressed with that guy Ryan Blaney in a 12.
Well, anytime there's a loser, there's a winner. So Reddick was obviously losing with that problem. That was a huge break for Blaney. He had not pitted. That got him track position. Finished 20th in stage 1, just in the top 5 right now.
What about the battle for the lead that we saw earlier? Chicagoland has proven why we love coming to this place. You see 2 Joe Gibbs racing cars, Hamlin and Briscoe, gonna split the 23-11 right here. Bubba Wallace, it's been epic. William Byron said, hold my beer, I'll be there in a second to come up and win the next stage.
Absolutely fantastic racing, Adam. Cannot wait to see how this thing wraps up, my friend.
I'm just glad that McMurray got the hold my beer reference
Hold my
in
beer.
there.
Y'all got beer down there? I mean, what's the deal? Come on, that's not fair.
We talked about the effort on pit road. Zane Smith did have an uncontrolled tire. He was inside the top 20, so he'll have to come from the back. Front row, Byron and Briscoe. Talked about keeping control on the pit lane. Want to do it on the restart as well. Final stage, Chicagoland Speedway on TNT.
Blaney around the top of the racetrack.
Bubba Wallace joining him. That's the car right behind Blaney. Going to give him a shove.
Bowman right there as well. Gibbs jumping inside of his teammate Chase Briscoe, racing for second as they come off turn 4. 2nd to 5th in the running order. All getting it done for the coach, Joe Gibbs Racing.
Bubba loses a little bit of nose on corner exit there. Just ahead of a 3-wide battle. Top 7 right there on the screen.
Oh, wow. Hamlin squeezes in front of Bell.
Bell's going right back to the outside, though, still side by side.
I bet that radio was entertaining.
Bell's going to stay on the outside here around turn 2.
Man.
Down the back straightaway. Briscoe to the inside of the 54. Ty Gibbs takes that spot away.
The body language on this restart says it's time to go.
Well, I think the 4 Gibbs cars, all of them know how good they are in the long run. They want to be the lead of that group. Watch this slide job from the 11 up in front of the 20 right here, bottom right.
It gave him a little bit of a lane out there, but yeah, it's tight racing, and the Toyotas racing each other really, really hard here, allowing Byron to keep that lead.
You know it's close when the hood flap comes up.
Still side by side here with the 20 and 11. Christopher Bell up high, Denny Hamlin down low.
Remember, these are the 2 that raced like this in the closing laps of the 600 and allowed Daniel Suarez to kind of maintain the lead. We thought it was going to be a Gibbs car, but they could not sort it out.
Yeah, they were both part of the battle as well at Nashville, Steve.
You have that epic 3-wide white flag.
Christopher Bell with the wrist injury now feels like he's on the way back to a full recovery.
It was at that point that I said, watch out for Bell. He goes second in the 600. He goes second at Nashville, and you're like, he's on his way. And then the crash at Michigan injures the wrist. A lot of challenges since that time. Back on track, top 5 at Sonoma.
And he's finally going to be able to get clear enough to slide up in front of him and take the lane, take the air away. Both of them to the bottom of the racetrack. This entire side of the racetrack in the shade. Steve, as you mentioned, the temperature of the track goes down. That tends to mean the lane, the groove moves down as well as the grip in the track goes up. It's a little harder to make that high line work. This end of the racetrack still in the sun for the time being.
I was looking to see where the fastest lap was run. It was still back on lap 90. close racing between Cindric and Suarez. I mentioned the 600. Well, there's the winner of Charlotte Danielle Suarez in the 7.
What a day for Suarez. Something as crew chief called a blue-collar day is what we're going to have. There is no magic trick to pull out with strategy. We started 26. We're just going to have to pick them off one at a time and gain track position. That's exactly what they've done. From 26, Suarez is now 12th, getting oh so close to cracking the top 10. He is happy with his car. And remember, Adam won the Coke 600 on an intermediate in May.
He slid back to 11th when you look at the chase standings, so he's lost a little ground last couple of weeks in that regard, coming off his worst run of the year, 31st at Sonoma, but staying in the game tonight.
Those chase standings are getting ready to have some brackets, right? Like the first 2 have separated, then there's 4 or 5 other guys that are together, then a couple, right? We're starting to see some separations. When you talk about Bell and that wrist injury, right? He is trying to chase Suarez down. That's the next position up the road for him when it comes to the standings. You see on the left side of your screen, remember 16 advanced, but we really think top 10, even top 5 or 6 on the restart have the best opportunity when it comes to the championship.
Talk about Suarez winning the Coke 600. Corey Heim wins in San Diego. And they're racing for a spot there. Heim up to 12th in the running order.
Look at Ryan Blaney here in the 12 car. Called up to the back bumper of Christopher Bell. He's trying to take that spot away. I'm impressed by the speed in the 12 of Blaney, and just didn't feel like the 4s have been very good all summer long. Busher was strong early in the race. Right now I'm riding in 15th, but the only other Ford really up toward the front of the field is this 12.
Well, I think about Blaney, and I look down the road because, you know, 3rd in points, so they're going to be great when you look at the reset for the chase. But we've also talked about where they are when it comes to intermediate performance, and you're going to have to be good on these mile-and-a-halfs in the chase if you're going to have a chance to win the title.
Well, I know Team Penske knows they want to have their cars better, but they have to be very happy, Dale, to know that they got this man in a contract extension. I mean, what he does behind the wheel of this 12 car, it's not in question, right? They locked him up. They have their franchise guy. Logano's a great guy, multi-time champion, but Blaney being a little younger, and he just is the leader of the pack pretty consistently.
Logano said recently that Blaney's the better driver. And I think when you go down in the garage and you look at how good Toyotas are and how off the Fords have been all summer, the garage would tell you that Blaney's better than anybody imagined.
I remember, Dale, when you and I talked to Paul Wolf, Joey Logano's crew chief, you know, a couple of months ago, and he just referenced the data that he has because he's an in-house guy at Team Penske, and just paid such a huge compliment to Blaney of what he's able to do with the race car based on the speed that it is delivered on a particular weekend.
I've had a lot of teams tell me about what the Toyota advantage may or may not be, where Chevrolet stacks up, where's this, and every conversation ends with, and Blaney's a driving machine, because they just don't believe that's where those Penske cars should run.
100%.
Well, he's a student of the game, and I would say the same about Corey Heim, 12th right now, Shannon.
Yeah, certainly the youth of that Toyota group, and what a race he has had. Started 28th here today, and he's had restarts back in the 20s, but he has been making his way just outside the top 10. This team's been very strategic about the races that they put him in, give him some time in between each one to get ready. They actually started preparing for this one while they were working on San Diego setups, but Corey Heim told me today is about trying the top lane. He said, I've never really been very good up there. Haven't been able to find speed. I want to go up there. I want to test it. If I don't push myself today in this race, it will have been a failure.
I like their approach. Running every few weeks gives this young man a little bit of time. Remember, he doesn't run anything full time. He's trucks, he's O'Reilly, he's Cup, bouncing all around. I'm going to take a minute too. Tip of the hat to my old buddy Booty Barker, crew chief for Corey Heim. Got that win out in San Diego at number 600. On top of the pit box today. Did a lot with Bubba Wallace, doing a lot with this young man. Guy in the garage that you rarely see not in a good mood.
And you know what? If you're a young driver, he just tells it like it is. So you're always going to know exactly where you stand.
He's hiding from the camera. But there's my buddy Booty in the middle. That's right, Booty. You can smile. I won't tell anyone.
It's hard to run 12th in a cup race. It's hard to do that. This young man's doing an incredible job. I think since he won at San Diego, our expectations have shifted somewhat, right? Is 12th really a great day? Absolutely. It is, against this stout of a field.
Riding with Hamlin, the man who tapped him on the shoulder to come full time in 2027. I would say there's some similarities between these two when you think about mindset, approach, driving style, and Hamlin racing to the outside of Gibbs for third.
Okay, as we get deeper into this run, the expectation would be that the Toyotas would start to put a little bit of pressure on William Byron. Briscoe 8/10 back. Seems to be maybe closing the gap just a little bit.
William Byron continues to lead 68 out front tonight for the guy that swept stage 1 and stage 2. 78 laps remain. Great night, Joliet, Illinois. NASCAR on TNT, live at Chicagoland Speedway. Let's go back to pre-green and what we were keeping our eye on, fellas.
Well, the changing track is absolutely coming true as the sun starts to set. The lights are coming on. We still have 72 laps to go in this race. This track is starting to darken up from the tire rubber, too.
And we talked about Toyota versus the field. It's really Toyota versus William Byron right now. Stage winner in stage 1 and 2. Byron out front, keeping a pretty solid lead over Briscoe right now. Can he stay there?
Let's get an update from pit road. Here's Marty Snyder.
Convenient timing, Adam, that Steve is keeping his eye on this changing track. Ryan Blaney's been struggling with front turn since he caught that caution, kind of hanging around the top 5. But a moment ago, Steve, he just told Jonathan Hassler, hey, we're freeing up really for the first time all day long. And then he came back a second ago and he said, I think it's a track. I don't think it's us. So clearly that track change you're talking about, Steve, happening right now. So how critical is that next change? And also, as the sun goes down, it's getting a lot cooler here at Chicagoland.
Well, let me add to that, Marty. Not only is the next change critical, but we have seen kind of a wave of green flag pit stops, but then we got a yellow. When your car pits under green and fires right back on the racetrack at full speed, doesn't have yellow laps to heat the tires up and let everything come up to temperature, your balance will shift dramatically. It could change the whole next run. Who guesses right on that? Normally you get to rinse and repeat stage 1 or stage 2. You get a couple tries at it. This may be our first long extended run with a green flag cycle.
I would say that Briscoe might be Byron's biggest concern, but Christopher Bell's starting to come into that conversation as well, as he's got his car up to third position over the course of this long run. The car looking really good at the right time tonight.
Play the Jaws music. That 11 car has that look. We've seen it at Michigan. We saw it at Pocono. We've seen it at Nashville.
Well, no deficit is too big, right? You think about he gets the pole Nashville and jumps the start, so has to come from the back. Wins the pole at Michigan. Once again comes from the tail end of the field. Tonight had some compromised track position early after a cycle of stops, but here he is. Denny Hamlin racing his teammate Christopher Bell for third.
Look, I don't know if it's smoke and mirrors or part of the action's detrimental sales pitch or whatever it is, but what he's selling about not caring about practice and learning from Michael Jordan and figuring out a different way to run these races and staying calm throughout the day, like, that's what we're seeing on racetrack. So it's more than a marketing campaign for Denny Hamlin. He's kind of not only talking the talk, but then he walks the walk when it gets into the race. And you're seeing it right here once again as he drives right by the 20. Fastest car of the top three last lap, even with a pass.
Hamlin having a good night in a race car, and once again, his driver's having a good night on track. Obviously, Reddick had the issues, but Bubba Wallace up there in 7th has really been a part of the equation throughout the night, Danielle.
He really has had one of the best cars all day today, Adam. His crew chief, Charles tonight, just said, you're doing good with pace. He's told to stay with it. Just stay with the car until the pit window opens. I'm not sure the driver loves that plan. Let's take a listen to the radio.
Still doing good. Stay with it. Just got to be better than the other guys here for a bit to get us to our window. Do you need your balance to be different prior to this point? We're just all over the place.
Stevie, when your driver's screaming about tires, how bad are the tires right now, and how long into that pit window opens that Bubba's praying for?
Well, with 65 to go, they could make it from here on fuel, but they have only run 31 on this sets of tires. So while you can give your drivers some short-term relief, it's going to be a long-term pain if you don't get a caution. You could be on the front side and it will work, but I think you have to force your driver to run at least 10 more, probably 15 more laps to really get to where you want to be. Heim continues to battle, moving forward now, attacking Cindric for the 11th position.
Just in front of them, Riley Herbst having a good night inside the top 10. A couple of weeks ago, matched his career best in San Diego when he was 8th.
It's not just on the racetrack, guys. I'm looking at the pit stops from today. Briscoe's fastest stop of the year was today. 2 of Byron's 3 fastest were today. 2 of Hamlin's 5 fastest stops were today. So these teams are figuring out the setups on the racetrack. Pit road is figuring it out. Now the question is, you can go too fast. This green flag pit stop, man, I just need a base hit. Let's not swing for the fences. And as a driver coming on pit road, Dale, I know you want to try to get all you can, but I would be reminding you how tricky this entrance is.
Yeah, so far they've been real conservative with pit entry, but they'll need to push it to the limit here to try to maximize getting on and getting off pit road, getting on being the more tougher part. You mentioned all these cars that are running at the front of the field: Briscoe, Byron, Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell, Gibbs. They all have top 10 pit crews. This will be a heck of a competition between the teams on the racetrack and on pit road. 19 at Briscoe on turn 2 exit. A little bit too high, gets the right rear in the wall. Ooh. Not hard contact, but was on the sidewall of the tire against the boards for quite a while. Sometimes that can knock the sidewall out of the tire or create a slow leak.
So I'm racing around Larson, who had gotten the free pass to get to 1 lap down. He's now gone 2 laps down once again.
Denny's got back by the 20.
Top 5 with 61 to go. Byron, Briscoe, Hamlin, Bell, and Gibbs. Green flag pit stops coming up on TNT. Inside of 60 laps to go. William Byron leading. Let's do our Credit One Bank ones to watch.
Yeah, I mean, the guy out front's pretty easy to keep your eye on. William Byron, he has come into this race leading more laps tonight than he's led the entire season. Winless this year. They are looking for a great night, hoping to cap it off with a win.
Well, he was my pick at the beginning of the day. It's been a little more eventful than I was looking for with the damage on pit road, but Adam Stevens took the time, made the repairs. Here's Bell up to third. He's closed the lead of William Byron down to just over 3 seconds. 13 wins on his career. It's been 25 starts since he went to victory lane at Bristol. Maybe he can ring the bell today.
We got a Byron, we got a Bell. I'm going Briscoe, the man running in the second position. Finished runner-up last week to Shane van Gisbergen, but this guy really has turned up the heat in recent weeks. And when you think about his performance on mile and a halves, inside the top 10 in 6 of the last 8, and I'd remind you of this, he had a great night going in the Coke 600 before they crashed out, getting a ton of stage points. Up inside the top 10 in the chase standings now. I like what Briscoe's doing here.
I'm telling you, it's stacking up near the front. The lead's shrinking, and that matters because on this pit stop, you want as much cushion as you can get.
Fun to watch Briscoe pull that tear off, go from the tinted visor to the clear visor.
Yeah. Like he's in a sprint car. Just reaches it up, gives it a tear.
Let's get an update on a race leader. What's happening there, Marty?
53 to go, race of the year so far for William Byron. He's led 93 laps. He's up front here at Chicago, kind of getting a read on the cars behind him. It is Byron versus Joe Gibbs Racing right now. All 4 Gibbs cars right behind him. And he told Rudy Fugle told him a moment ago, listen, you have a 4-second gap over Hamlin. That's the car they focused on. Byron kind of moved his line around, trying to build that gap a little bit. And here's that green flag cycle starting right now, Shannon.
The 19 car is really coming alive. They've told him on these last few laps that his times have been better than the leader, William Byron. So not much changes to this 19 as he heads back out.
See if William Byron counters. I don't believe he can think he can give the 19 extra laps to pit road. He does. On to pit road. Will he get under the box? Well done by driver 24. Now it's up to the pit crew. They need a clean and green stop, and he'll try to cycle back out in front of the 19, who's already changed those 4 tires.
William Byron had a 1-second lead over Chase Briscoe when the 19 made his scheduled stop. Handful of other drivers coming down now. Here's the 24, Marty.
Boy, Adam, it took Rudy Fugle about 3 seconds after he saw the 19 on pit road, knowing the advantage of those fresher tires, to call his driver to pit road. 2 free for William Byron. Ty Gibbs also on pit road. Ryan Blaney on pit road as well. All the drivers talking about how free the racetrack has gotten with 51 to go.
24 right side of the screen, left side of the screen. 19 of Briscoe, who's already completed his service. Let's see if he can do something about this. On board with Briscoe. Up ahead, Byron trying to get power down on the apron. 1 lap, newer tires. What will Briscoe do with the run? Take control of the race. Great work by the 19.
You know, it went the opposite way on the green flag cycle earlier. Byron was able to take advantage. This time Briscoe gets by as Bell makes his stop, Marty.
Back-to-back impressive performances for Christopher Bell up to the top 5 at Sonoma last week. Now let's see where Bell cycles out his car just a little bit too free on that last run.
And then the 19, remember the 11, the leader is yet to come to pit road. 48 on pit road, Shannon.
Yeah, pretty solid day for the most recent winner here at Chicagoland. He's really good in 1 and 2. And like everybody else, the car is really starting to come alive as these temperatures have gone down, guys.
The gap for Briscoe to Byron, all that 1 extra lap. As now we see the 11 right side of your screen will come to pit road. He'll get his service done.
Cycles Bubba Wallace to the race lead. Scheduled green flag pit stops, final stage at Chicagoland. Pole sitter heading your way, Marty.
And has the advantage of that #1 pit stall, which has helped him under caution, except for that 1 stop where the 11 kind of had an issue on that stop. Hamlin, for the first time all night long, a little bit too free, and he said it was too edgy in 3 and 4. Slides in his box just a little bit. A critical adjustment here for this 11 team because he's kind of lost that long run pace that he had earlier in the race. This changed here in Chicago. Heads back out on the racetrack. We'll see where he cycles out.
Looking at pit stops from the 19 to the 24, very similar. Rolling times very similar. It was all coming to pit road 1 lap sooner. The lap time almost a second and a half faster than the other car, and for that reason, he got to the front. 23 of Bubba Wallace on pit road, Danielle.
Bubba Wallace is in right now. Asked how many laps to go on those tires. He couldn't wait to come in. They said, stay with it. He said, I'm all over the place. He wanted those 4 fresh Goodyears. He's down the way. A great pit stop for Bubba Wallace, 9.4 seconds.
Top 4 drivers in the pylon need to make a pit stop. Corey Heim gives up the top spot. Here he is, Shannon.
What a great run it is for this young man. Won the race at San Diego, took the week off, and he's been running in the top 10. Said the car fired off tight this run, but overall he is happy with that 67.
He drives away. Gilliland Priest going to have to make pit stops. And once they execute, it will cycle back to Chase Briscoe, who was able to cycle to the front when you talk about those drivers that had made those green flag pit stops.
And Dale put the warning out there 60 or 70 laps ago. He said the 24 looked best on short run. Can he hold the lead? And he was able to hold the lead using the air, using traffic. But now Briscoe, James Small, they came early because they knew they had to take control. Just what Dale's been pointing out. Now they've done it. That'll let Briscoe to kind of set the pace. That's only going to make this 19 car harder to beat, who I already think has a better long-run car than Byron.
Briscoe was a second behind Byron when he came to pit road that lap earlier, and now you can see 9/10 of a second in front of the 24.
And that's so difficult if you're the 24, the leader, you know, because they're already on the early side of the stops.
Yeah, I mean, just doesn't look good for Byron. I mean, he's had a great car all night long. When's the last time we've seen a Chevrolet run down a Toyota this year? It's been quite a while. And as this track gains grip, the drivers are talking about this track coming to them. It's coming to everybody. Everybody's experiencing that grip increase. Everybody's experiencing more comfort and more grip. And you see this 19 car wrapping right around the bottom, maintaining that 1 second gap. 44 laps to go. I don't see the balance going away on that 19. Byron's going to have to be perfect, and he's going to have to take risks that he hadn't taken all day long to try to drive that car a little bit harder, put it in places he hasn't ran tonight, trying to run down the 19.
Cindric's had a good night when you talk about scoring points. He's able to get around Chastain for 11th on the board. Also go around the 71 of McDowell, who needs to make a pit stop. He's not yet come in this green flag cycle. So back to the top 10 for driver 2.
The curious decision in my mind when I look at the leaderboard is Denny Hamlin's decision to run 4 extra laps. They must feel there's that much payoff on the later side of this tires because they lost multiple seconds. So they went from about 3.5 seconds back to now you see on your screen almost 9.6 seconds back. So, you know, they obviously have a plan. They know what they want to strategize on. They must feel the long run, the fresher tires at the end of the run is where the 11 is going to make his ground. Unfortunately, though, he has to go through Ty Gibbs again, go through Blaney again. That's going to take tire life out of this 11 car.
Good little run right there, giving him an opportunity to try to get to the top of this 54 going down into turn 1 to take this spot rather easily, I believe. The tire advantage showing off just a little bit there around to the exit of turn 2.
Now, if the passes happen like that, that's not going to hurt the tires very much. That was a good, clean pass.
Hamlin to 5th, 10 seconds behind his teammate Chase Briscoe, who leads with 40 laps remaining. Byron, Bell, Blaney, Hamlin, your top 5. It's NASCAR on TNT, live at Chicagoland Speedway. Wrapping things here, Chicagoland Speedway. Next weekend, a busy one as well. ARCA on FS2 Friday, 4 Eastern time from Lime Rock. Trucks do battle there at 1 o'clock Saturday on FS1. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing under the lights Saturday evening from Echo Park Speedway, 7 p.m. Eastern time. NASCAR on TNT. Back at it next Sunday evening in the draft. Our coverage begins with NASCAR Nation, presented by Nereus at 6 o'clock in the East.
It's one of the best tickets in NASCAR. I mean, it's like, it takes a few laps to even imagine what you're seeing out the window when we go to Atlanta. It's crazy.
We talked a lot about Briscoe, Byron, Hamlin, all these guys. Look at this guy in the 48 Bowman. Let's talk about some drivers that,
absolutely,
you know, we haven't really mentioned a ton tonight. Bowman obviously coming off of a win here many, many years ago. This is a track he's had a lot of success at.
I mean, Mr. Chicago, when you think about what he did on the streets, right? He's won here on both tracks.
Absolutely. So sitting here running in the top 20 all night long, really consistent, marching forward late in the race when it matters. 34 laps to go, sitting here with a top 5 right in his lap. Just past Blaney a few laps ago, driving away, trying to chase down this number 11 of Hamlin.
Head-to-head with the 2 of Cindric in the in-season challenge. 48's thinking he could advance, get a little extra payday.
I mean, you talk about drivers getting it done tonight, and we're going to continue as we'll be at 7 races to go to the chase when we wrap things here this evening. Let's go to Eric Jones. Had jumped inside the top 16, fell out the last couple of weeks racing on the road courses, but here he is tonight, and he's come back to 16th, and he's +1 right now over Preece.
Yeah, look at this whole back. I mean, this whole mess down here is
That's exactly what it is.
How about this guy? You mentioned the points. Allmendinger, 16 below. Having a really nice day, a quiet day, running 18th. Just remind everybody, this is an organization that decided to switch their truck program to Ram for that reason. Then they knew. Chevy was like, listen, we can't give you our cup info if you're going to run a different manufacturer. Colleague said that's going to be our plan. We're going to do it. Here's A.J. Allmendinger running 18th, and behind him, just back about a second or so, the 10th of Ty Dillon. So both Colleague cars having nice runs here in Chicagoland.
Milestone night for Ty Dillon. Career start 300 in a Cup car.
Riding on board with Joey Logano sitting in 15th. I can't express how bad off this car was this weekend. He had no speed in practice. 30th on 5 lap, 29th on 10 lap. Struggled most of the year trying to get this car comfortable for Joey. But he's worked really hard to give himself an opportunity at a top 20. And then you got Stenhouse Jr., a guy we saw getting fenced off of turn 2 on the first lap of the race. I thought his day was over. But he's worked really hard, sitting here in 20th right now, fighting to keep his car in the top 20.
We might have a little upset brewing. I guess you could call it an upset in the in-season challenge. Todd Gilliland currently running 21st. Carson Hocevar 23rd. This would be a Gilliland advancement. Look at that on the left side of your screen.
That'd be 2 straight weeks he gets a Spire driver because he eliminates Suarez last week at Sonoma, and head-to-head with Hocevar this week, the advantage goes to the 34 with 30 laps to go.
No
now
disrespect,
29.
but I don't need that to happen. I got Hocevar taking down Reddick at Atlanta, which Reddick's not going to be there more than likely.
Well, if you just tuned it in to Hocevar's defense, he got a little contact from Zane Smith early in this race that got him into the wall. The 77 just trying to salvage what they can. I'm sure there's some damage to the right side of this car. It's pretty heavy contact. There's
9th in
Smith,
points.
38.
Talking about Hocevar, 9th in points.
28 laps to go. Briscoe is just putting all the laps together he needs.
Yeah, he's gotten a comfortable 2.5 lead now. He's grown at about a 1/2 second over the last couple of laps. And Blaney's got to look in the mirror and start to see that 23 car of Bubba Wallace creeping in.
Starting, you know, the crew chief hat always seems to come on, and I'm starting to wonder what those tires look like that came off pit road on that long run. This set right here will be the longest green flag run we will try to put on a set of tires, I think. Oh man.
Last couple of corners, Briscoe's lost about half of that second.
Wow.
You know, 1/2 second on the lead that he had. And you see him get squeezed a little bit on corner exit of 2. We saw him getting to the wall there many, many laps ago. So has he pushed his car really hard? Is he starting to be challenged by the balance of the car. Is Byron going to start to close the gap?
And that was my question about the tires. As they push harder, longer run, right there you slide around. We've seen this tire combination fall right off a cliff.
Bubba Wallace is excited to pass his good friend Ryan Blaney.
Yep. Blaine will hear about this on the golf course.
He will.
Although with 2 young babies, I'm not sure they're playing any golf, but they try to get out. I've been a part of the foursome, and I will tell you the entertainment value is very high.
Yeah, trash talk opportunity pass complete for Wallace in front of Blaney. Gibbs back there in 8th behind him, Danielle.
Bubba loves his car. Ty Gibbs is complaining. They're asking him to try to maximize his lap time and manage his tires after they took a look at the last set that just came off on that cycle of stops. Take a listen to the radio.
So about 5 laps longer on this run. We should have cords on the right rear, so make sure you take care of the right rear.
Some cording, Steve Letarte. Does that give you concern now with 25 laps to go with this fresh set?
Absolutely. 5 laps longer. So we're going to ask to go 7.5 miles more. We want you to push the pace. We're back to 8. The drivers are sliding around. They're slipping. They're sliding. We were already on cords. And my fear with this intermediate tire is, thankfully, it doesn't blow, right? The drivers know. But when the tire rubber is gone, it is gone. And you have no choice but to either pit or slow down multiple seconds. Well, you called this, Dale. William Byron has moved up the racetrack and starting to inch in on the 19.
Yeah, it's really kind of dependent on lap traffic. The 19 car obviously catching those lap cars first, and he'll lose a little bit of time. But with the 24 running the top of the racetrack, he's starting to close the gap just a little bit. We know the 19 can get up there and find that speed as well, but what is he saying, Marty?
Says he's a little bit too free, Dale, but the interesting thing that William Byron's kind of played with all evening long is that when he has moved up the racetrack, you just mentioned that a moment ago, it's kind of tightened his car up a little bit as well. So that's what he's doing right here, taking out that free condition, trying to make it tighter by where he runs on the racetrack.
Last couple of corners have been really good for Briscoe as he's got it back to a second. Maybe Briscoe will start to get some information from his spotter about where the 24 is running. If Briscoe notices the gap closing, he'll say, hey, where is he running? Where do I need to run? Maybe I could try the line that he's running and improve my speed as well. And now we're starting to see him open that lead back up. He's staying on the bottom of the racetrack, though, and as we mentioned, the lead getting larger. Byron now changes his line. Try to see if he can find speed again.
1 second sounds like a lot, but you could see it right there on your screen. What is that, 25, 30 car lengths? Catch a lap car in the wrong spot, you can lose a second in a lap pretty easily.
The lap cars are spread out pretty evenly, maybe 10 car lengths between them. There's no gaggle of cars really that is going to disrupt Briscoe's pace. They'll just have to try to get to those cars and dispose of them as quickly as possible. That's a good little line right there for Byron. Through 3 and 4, and it's like he can hit it every now and then and gain a little bit.
20 laps to go for Chase Briscoe. Talk so much about the schedule and the opportunities that lie ahead. You know, next week we go to Atlanta. Briscoe was second there earlier in the campaign, one of the draft last fall at Talladega. And you were watching what he's doing out front, and then I go to Denny Hamlin back there in 4th, and the ground that he's making up, pitted later, fresher tires.
They gambled on 5-lap longer run to have 5-lap fresher tires. Last time by, leaders 80s and 70s. Denny Hamlin was in the 40s. This lap, still 2/10 faster than the leader. I don't know if he can make up 9 seconds back is where he entered the racetrack. That's going to be a heck of a run over the last bit here, but as we keep saying, potential cords on these right side tires. Will the little bit fresher tires help the 11? And can the 19 and 20 get racing? If the 24 gets there, a couple laps side by side, they'll back right up to Bell. Here's Bell right here.
That's a bad spot to be in.
That's the gaggle you were talking about.
Passing lap cars on the bottom isn't really your preference. You'd love to get to the top of the racetrack in the line that they're running to keep your momentum up. You know, you get slowed down running on the inside of them down these straightaways like this. Just costing you 1/10 of a second.
18 to go in the pylon, showing the tire data that we were talking about and how everybody managed that green flag cycle.
Yeah, lefts and rights, how many laps they have them. They're matching here because everybody changed 4 tires. But it's a great way to look at it because there's a lot of times we'll have split tire choices coming to the end of these races.
Go down to Shannon on the race leader, Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, Chase Briscoe not only looking out that back window at William Byron, but of course Christopher Bell. They just told him on the radio that the 20 is the best car on the racetrack. He's saying that he's looking for speed in the middle of the turn of 4 and off. So that is where he's got a little bit of a struggle right now, but they are just holding steady and not a lot from Chase Briscoe as he tries to get this win. Guys, he finished second last week in Sonoma, was so disappointed, knew he left something on the table. This would be good redemption.
Yeah, there were a lot of people last Sunday at Sonoma that felt like they let an opportunity get away, because for the first time in a long time, Shane van Gisbergen looked vulnerable, and Briscoe just was unable to get there in that final run of the race.
Right there, straight up turn 1. That was the one mistake late in the running that may have cost him the difference. You get all the way near the rear bumper, coming to the checkered flag. SVG, that's the first time we've seen him play defense maybe in any of his wins. A little bit shallow entry.
Watching Briscoe on the racetrack is lost a little bit of. He had an inch or a second and a half lead down the back straightaway. Something happened in turn 3, and it's those lap cars in front of him cost him about half a second just in turn 3 alone. So there's 3 lap cars right here in front. Looks like maybe the 21 of Josh Berry, and then a couple cars side by side.
And then we have the 19 behind the 19, the 24 on the same straightaway, the 20, and the right behind him, the 11. Hamlin now under 4 seconds. So, you know, they're all kind of getting squeezed back by these lap cars.
Reference Josh Berry being scored 33rd in that 21 car, 13 laps to go.
And right in front of Josh Berry are 2 cars running relatively close together, and they have to separate on the racetrack. They can't run the same line, so that blocks almost half of the racetrack for Briscoe. All of these challenges that Briscoe's dealing with, Byron also has to deal with as well.
I almost feel like Bell and Hamlin are getting the best, because once they catch the guys, they just pull over. I mean, Bell has closed in on the back of the 24 car.
Absolutely.
You know, when the 3rd and 4th place guy gets here, you kind of just give them the lane, but you fight for your lap when it's the leader.
Bell is right there. You see it. That's Bell and Byron on the screen. The battle for second starting to heat up with 12 laps to go.
Now Briscoe wants these two to get locked side by side, some side drafts.
And those are his best friends. If they can race for position and he can stretch the advantage, 11 to go. 1.3 out front, the margin for Briscoe over Byron, with Bell rallying from 3rd.
And this is what we love about the racetrack, a second lane available. Bell higher up, and he'll have momentum down the backstretch. It'll be a tough grind around the bottom. Let's see if he can get in the gas to drive up next to the 24. I think he has a pretty good run.
He's going to clear him right here.
Oh, wow.
Take the line away. That needed to happen to give Bell any chance of running down Briscoe. Now a second and a half for Bell to Briscoe. Bell still not really closing the gap on the lap cars in front of him. He's kind of stalled out on the backside of Ty Dillon. This is an opportunity for Christopher Bell, down to 1.3.
The gap was 1.4 when he went by, and we'll continue to monitor that as we come back to 9 laps to go. You look at the pylon, a lot of Toyotas there. They got 7 inside the top 10. That would be their best ever performance when you talk about what they're doing collectively as a manufacturer.
Leader in 90, second place, a 73, 0.2 of a second in 1 lap.
What do you have for us, Shannon?
Well, they just came on the radio and they are well aware, Briscoe is well aware that that 20 is stalking him right now. They're also giving him some advice in terms of how to attack those corners. Listen in.
Not quite go to 0 here. Just keep the momentum in it. Make sure you keep it some shape here, man. Don't get lazy and being flat both ends here. You got to get after it here. He just got by the 24.
Dale, maybe you could talk to that. What does that mean? Don't get lazy. What does that mean when you're telling your driver that?
Look at all these lap cars in front of Briscoe. I mean, they're starting to pile up in front of him. That's going to make things difficult. He can't wait on this. He has to try to dispose of those cars as quickly as possible. It's hard to close the gap even on that lap car in front of him. Can't drive up to the back bumper of this 10 car. You have to go where the 10 car isn't. But there's so many other lap cars around the racetrack. They're all taking lanes.
I don't know what happened to Hamlin, but he gave up 3 seconds on the last lap, so he might have
just
had
had
an
some
issue.
wall contact, Steve. Yes, from wall contact for Denny Hamlin.
Oh, Cook at the top, just getting into the wall. So there you go. Denny Hamlin's opportunity with one mistake, probably gone away to win unless we have a yellow. The 19 on the left side, though, splits the lap car. He could see the 20 in the mirror. He could feel him closing in.
That's what you got to do. Take those, aggressive moves to be able to at least take a spot or two from a lap car. But again,
6 laps to go.
Get around this 10 car, get some clean air on the front of this 19.
Pusher with a big wiggle. That has to make the 20 nervous.
Ty Dillon trying to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, Briscoe's like, don't side draft me. Just let me go.
Just leave me alone.
Briscoe just can't get by. It's allowing Bell to close the gap. Briscoe's car is really struggling right now.
Come on, man. Dig deeper. You got this. Go.
5 laps to go, and that's the word from the pit box for Chase Briscoe. James Small coaching him up. So hard to finish these races. And you think about the heartbreak for the guys running 1-2. They've been close a lot this year, just not able to get over the hump.
Bell, 2-lap fresher tires. I'm not sure it's a big advantage, but every lap matters. As we come to 4 to go, the 19 now has a little bit of clear traffic, but there's 3 cars he is going to get probably with 2 or 3 to go.
Bell from the top here, big momentum down the front straightaway.
4 laps to go, and he's right there.
4 laps and 4 car lengths. Bell to the top.
3 runner-up finishes this year for Bell.
Bell's got momentum now down the back straightaway. A good run off of turn 2. 4 car lengths, 3 car lengths, 2.5 down into turn 3. Briscoe trying to run the line. He does a good job there. That makes this corner basically a wash for Christopher Bell as Christopher Bell loses the nose of the car.
Briscoe playing defense. 3 laps to go. They close on Ross Chastain.
The lap traffic is going to affect this 19 car, Adam. Bell to the bottom. Chastain gets out of the way here, giving these guys the top of the racetrack. Bell needs a clean air right here. He needs to find a lane the 19 doesn't run.
We're 3 and 4. Going to be 2 laps to go this time by. Teammates racing for the top spot at Chicagoland Speedway. Chase Briscoe in front of Christopher Bell.
Briscoe to the bottom. Can he get alongside the 19? Not going to be able to do it. Briscoe with a good momentum off of the hill. Stretches it out to about 3 car lengths down the back straightaway.
16 is A.J. Allmendinger. 17th final car on the lead lap. Briscoe to the outside. Bell right there with him. 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Who's it going to be? Briscoe or Bell?
Oh, Briscoe followed him down in the corner. Loses the nose and tons of car lengths to the 19 car.
Bell, the broken wrist. Driving injured. Incredible rally. Great defense for Chase Briscoe and trying to hang on. 3 wins a year ago in the 19, and he's going to see his first checkered flag of the campaign. Here's Chase Briscoe, a winner at Chicagoland.
Let's go, boys! Awesome job! Woo! Good job, man. Great work, great way to hang on. Guess I'm going to have to share those buttons with you now. Happy birthday, buddy.
A 1, 2, 3 finish for Joe Gibbs Racing. William Byron sweeps the stages and finishes 4th. And a great effort tonight for Alex Bowman to come home inside the top 5. Career win number 6 for Chase Briscoe. And a huge point night vaults him to 8th in the Chase standings.
heard him wish his crew chief James Small a happy birthday. Well, today's the day. That's a heck of a birthday present if you're going to deliver. What a drive. James called the strategy, came to pit road a lap early, got in front of the 24. It ended up being Bell. He was battling, but you just wonder if control of the race just helped him manage these tires. And look at this celebration to the fans.
Third consecutive season that Briscoe's pulled into victory lane. Did it at Stewart-Haas, moves to JGR. So good a season ago in his first triumph of 2026. Sixth career victory in his 199th start. 31 years old from Mitchell, Indiana. Tenth driver to win this season. There are 9 drivers that won a year ago that are yet to find victory lane in 2026. And one of them is Christopher Bell, who's a runner-up for a 4th time this year. Red, white, and blue paint scheme. On July 4th weekend, Chase Briscoe paints Chicagoland red, white, and blue. Seven wins for Joe Gibbs Racing at Chicagoland. That's the most all time. Here's Danielle Trotta.
6th career win for Chase Briscoe, first of the season with Joe Gibbs Racing. It took 18 weeks. We're halfway through the regular season, Chase. What's the emotion now of finally breaking through?
Yeah, and how about that race? Was that a good race? It felt awesome. Yeah, what an unbelievable weekend. Just, I feel so American winning in the Bass Pro Shops, red, white, and blue car. 4th of July weekend, 250 years. And man, just what an unbelievable race car. James did a great job. Team did a great job. Yeah, just honestly did not see this coming. I was kind of felt like I was struggling in practice and qualifying. But yeah, James and the group did a great job. And man, just so cool to get this paint scheme back in victory lane. Appreciate all of our partners, Freebird, Zep. We got all kinds. Wix, obviously, Tracker Boats, True Timber Camo. So just appreciate each and every person, Mobile One too, that makes this happen. And just what a cool weekend to win a NASCAR race.
And to do it on your crew chief's birthday. Today is James Small's birthday. You've told me for the last few weeks it's been frustrating watching your teammates win. What is it about James Small? What has he meant to your career to get you back to your winning ways?
Yeah, James is, me and him are about the 2 most polar opposite people in the world, and he just stays on me. He makes me be perfect each and every lap and just does such a great job of keeping me honest. So yeah, he told me if I win today, I can get some chocolate. So I'm pretty fired up about that.
Okay, we're back at Chicagoland. Fantastic race, Chase. What was the difference battling your teammate Christopher Bell, who had 2 lap fresher tires than you? How were you able to hold him off?
Yeah, just I kind of got lucky how the lap cars honestly kind of worked out. I was struggling pretty bad, and Christopher was certainly coming. Out of all the people to racing hits, I knew Christopher was going to be clean with me. So yeah, just great that you know, JGR ran 1, 2. I don't know if we were 3rd or 4th either, but yeah, just a really fun race. I felt like that was about as good as a race as you can get, just from the cat and mouse game. We're slipping and sliding around. Hopefully you can see that on TV. And yeah, just once again, thank you to all you guys. So excited to be back to Chicagoland. Hopefully we can be back.
Chase Briscoe's a Midwest boy, right? The Hoosier gets it done here tonight at Chicagoland, Adam.